Hi everybody, I'm Donut Milkman, and I will be with you all Chicago Bears season. See you later. Bye.
God damn it!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CNG Podcast Training Camp EP, man. How's everybody doing before we get to it?
I'm fired up. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm super hyped for the Bear season.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody just take your time, man. Share us around real quick. I'm gonna share this around real fast. And you guys can do this. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, share it around your socials if you guys don't mind. Whatever y'all want to do it. So Andy, what's going on with Jalen Johnson, man? Like 1 minute he wants more money, he just got a deal. Now he's not gonna be at camp, man. What's going on with Jalen Johnson before we really get to the show?
Ooh, Jalen Johnson. I had not heard that. I'm sure it's. I was just talking to a guy the other day, and he said that obviously, now, players like to be number one, most highest paid, and now he's 13th. And when you talk about Jalen Johnson, I think he's definitely better than the 13th best cornerback in the league. So I can see him being frustrated by that, but he's going to be recognized. I think this year he's going to put up some big stats this year. I don't know what you all think.
Well, I personally think Jalen Johnson, you need to make sure he holds his end of the bargain. I know he said some things about polls yesterday about this same situation, but you can't control the market. He just got his deal at the beginning of last year, so you can't control the market. So we understand he's got to continue to make progress because Jalen Johnson still has to maintain his ability to play at a high level. So we don't pay you for yesteryear. We pay you for potential. You get paid for potential in the NFL. So in his case, he's got to keep pushing his potential through the roof. But right now, I know he's not the 13th, but he's not the 1 or the 3 either. So he's got to maintain that top 5 status. I think he can do it, but at this stage, we can't have any holdout. If he wants to hold out, we don't have time. I feel like Ryan has paid everybody this offseason. I don't think nobody needs a contract extension. I think we need to go through the season and let's see, man. We were a 5-win ball club last year. I don't think nobody deserves this thing. That's just my personal opinion. So I would want him to continue to move forward, man, and not get shuffled by everybody else's pocket.
Hey, somebody got a real bad feedback. I'm just letting everybody know somebody got a real bad feedback.
A real bad feedback.
I don't know if that's me, but hey, with the whole stuff on Jalen Johnson, you know what I love about Ben Johnson? And obviously, everyone's like he's a first-year head coach and all that. But I think the competition that I'm hearing about from camp, like pushing the guys, and maybe this kind of stems from that. And maybe Jalen Johnson comes in with that chip on his shoulder.
It's you, Cam.
Is trying to prove himself, and what I'm kind of looking forward to, overall, and what he's going to do in this new Dennis Allen defense. I mean, I really think like they're all going to be pushing in practice to kind of be featured, and I'm loving this. Like just hearing all of this. Obviously, it could be a distraction, but I think it's going to be a positive because I think these guys want to get paid. They want to do well, and the only way they get paid is doing well as a team and
that's it.
Individually.
You said the key word. We gotta win. we gotta move forward as a team. And I'm just saying, if I was a GM, nobody gets paid with a 5-win season. I'm sorry.
You're right.
When we go to playoffs, we start throwing money. But right now, I ain't throwing no money if I was the GM. I'm sorry, it's just me. Let's get the camp, play some football. We got a new head coach. Let's move along. Don't make no distractions. Because last time I checked, we got a lot of defensive backs on our team. And I don't think they drafted Zay Frazier for no reason. They brought in several cornerbacks this year. And we got a new cornerback coach. This is not the same coaching staff that brought in Jaden. So I need him to be very careful about his attendance.
I love it, man. But we're gonna start doing some intros right now. So let's go ahead and get the intros. Let me remove everybody real quick. Andy, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you at. Oh, wait. I forgot it does that dumb shit. Hold on, Andy. All right, Andy, tell them where they can find you at, man.
Absolutely. You can find me on NFL Outdated on X Twitter. You can find me NFL Outdated on YouTube. We Wednesday nights we have the Freezing 4 NFC North podcast. Definitely been glad to have you on, and love to have as many Bear people on as possible. And we also are on the TikTok Freezing 4 Pod and updating that with a lot of stuff. And I'm going to be at Bears Camp on Friday, so if anybody's there, I would love to hook up with people. I'm going to try to get. I've got a T-shirt here.
I love
that I made, and I'm actually going to try to get one in the hands of Caleb himself. So we'll see about that.
I love it. So then we're going to go with the newcomer, man, CV, man. Tell the people where they can find you at, bro.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you guys for having me on the pod, man. It's a great opportunity to be here, just talk some Bears football with y'all. Y'all can find me on CV3YT on Twitter, and then CV3 on YouTube. That's where I do all my content. Obviously, the offseason's been, as always, slow, but I'm going to get right back into that grind, get back right into posting content. But I'm excited for this season, man. I mean, I'm sure everybody else is, but this is the year where things need to change, and I'm just excited to see that change that I believe will happen, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Bears fans are hopeful for. So hopefully we see that.
And we got another newcomer to the show, man. This dude has been one of the most controversial people on Twitter on Bears X, man, but he's super smart. You got to turn your mic on, Cam, whenever you're ready, bro. You're one of the smartest people on X, man. Bear fan hit me up, said he wanted to come on and be on the show, so we're just going to bring him in. So, Cam, tell the people they can find you, bro.
Oh, yeah, you can find me at TTSCam3 at X.com. So, I also got a YouTube channel that I'm working on at TTSCam, so you can hit me up and find me whenever you please.
There it is. And then, you know, we got our OG right here. OG Allen right here. Tell him what's up, OG.
Hey, what's up, man? Appreciate everybody, man. Hey, look, I'm ready for the season with CNG Podcast, where you can find me at. You know, I do a little bit of things on YouTube, Bears Fans Lounge, but other than that, man, I'm with CNG Podcast, man. I'm glad to be here today, and go Bears.
Man, you heard Allen, the OG, man. You know, I'm G Walker, the CNG Podcast, man, the G and CNG Podcast, man. CJ's having a couple of technical difficulties right now, but I'm excited, man, for everybody's on this panel tonight, man. I'm just ready for some real work, bro. Like, look, man, I'm tired of talking to my kids, man. I'm tired of talking to my wife, man. It's time for us to have some fun and talk about football, bro. Like, it's been a long off season, man, with a lot of changes from Chicago Bear Nation, man. So I'm just really excited to get us our final podcast, and we got a hell of a crew. We got a hell of a panel, man. So I'm just really excited, man. So what we're going to be giving y'all tonight, people, is just we're going to be going through all the skill sets, the skill groups of camp. You know, the wide receivers, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line, the safety. We're going to give you guys everything. So we're going to get everybody's opinion about who's their star at camp, who's going to be a dud at camp, who's in trouble getting to camp, who's an X factor at camp. We're just going to be getting a lot of people, a lot of these guys, opinion on what they think of anybody in camp, man. So with that being said, we're gonna just keep getting into it. And hold on one second, then we're just gonna get straight to work, man. No big deal. Let's get it up. And we're gonna start with anybody want to pick a skill position first? Anybody? Just name me a skill position. We're gonna get to it. What y'all want to do? Who want to go first? Coaching staff? Look,
We got a
let's go to
fullback
coaching
on the
staff.
roster?
Huh?
Fullback?
No, I ain't got no fullback up here, bro. I'm sorry about that.
Wow, okay. We ain't got a fullback.
We could talk about.
I don't know if Ben gonna do a lot of fullback.
Right.
That's the first thing I
I
thought
think he
about.
do a lot of H-back with the tight end.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Right. So we're gonna talk about the coaching staff. So Andy, man, everybody know we're gonna go through this coaching staff really quick. We got Ben Johnson now coming from the Detroit Lions. We got Dennis Allen coming from the Saints. We got the young boy down there. I forgot his name, but what's your thoughts about this staff, man? Right away.
Yeah, obviously, it's a young coaching staff with Ben Johnson, but also with Dennis Allen. You have the veteran there that's going to be steady on the defense. And what I really like, I'm not sure if you guys have been watching quarterback on Netflix, but one of the games that they showed with the Lions, Ben Johnson got the game ball. I just love his creativity, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do in pushing these players, not only in practice, but in the games, right? I think all of that is going to come together, create a lot of competition. Obviously there's only one ball, right? But I think he's going to be able to skillfully kind of get it into the right hands and just, make everybody better on the whole offense. But I'm really excited for what Dennis Allen is going to do for this defense as well. Just that veteran defensive mind, and I'm excited.
And I love it. So CV, what's your thoughts, man? Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, JT Barry. I got all these guys up here, but what's your main topic you want to talk about? What coaches, man? We got whoever, man. We got Jeremy Green, we got Al Harris, we got all these guys. So what you want to do, man?
I know there's a lot of talk about Ben Johnson. I am super excited for him as the Bears head coach. Obviously, he brings just this play style prowess to him that is very hard to find in the NFL. And a lot of people compare him to Sean McVay, which I do agree with, and he does have that ceiling. But a guy that I feel is a little bit underrated on this team, even though we do talk about him a decent amount, is Dennis Allen. And I really like the Dennis Allen hiring for a few reasons, but the biggest reason for me is the fact that he was a former head coach twice, one with the Saints and one with the Raiders, I believe. And even though he didn't work out as a head coach, kind of like what the Chiefs have in Steve Spagnuolo, a guy that has been a head coach and is probably not going to get a head coaching job anytime soon, but he's perfect where he's at as a coordinator. Dennis Allen is here to stay, so we're not going to run into a Vic Fangio situation where he does really good and ends up leaving and wins a ring with another team, which was happy yet sad to see. But for Dennis Allen, man, he's here to stay, and we know that he's a good defensive coordinator. And on top of that, he gets to kind of help Ben Johnson on two things. One, being able to focus on his side of the ball for both sides, for defensive for Dennis Allen and offense for Ben Johnson, obviously. And two, also kind of have that experience with him and kind of maybe, in a way, coach up Ben Johnson in as a head coach. Now, just because Dennis Allen wasn't a great head coach in the NFL doesn't mean he doesn't have some pointers that he can give for Ben Johnson, because we see it all the time. A lot of coordinators are really good coordinators, but don't turn out to be good head coaches. So we need Ben Johnson.
That's a great point.
Yep. So we need Ben Johnson, to be put in as much position of success as guys like Caleb Williams and the rest of the team. So I really like the Dennis Allen hiring. I love the staff around him. It just seems like he's just created this Avengers level, coaching staff around him, man. I'm just so excited. And hopefully Dennis Allen, Ben Johnson, they just are sort of that yin and yang offense and defense and kind of just play off each other and just equals a very successful season for us.
And I love it, man. I agree with you, man. Like, Ben Johnson hasn't done it before, man, and it's a lot that he got to get done. But the squad he's put together, like the Legion of Goons, there's no weakness on this team. You got JT Barrett, you got Al Harris, you got Antoine Randall, you got Eric Bieniemy. Like, you have guys that's been done it for a while, that's actually been football players on the highest level. You know what I mean? So, Alan, you know, in the coaching staff right now, man, who do you like the most? Like, who do you want to talk about, Alan? Alan, did you freeze on me? Cam, who do you want to talk about in the coaching staff, bro? Turn your phone down. That might help out a little, too.
You said what?
I said turn your phone down. That might help out a little, man. The static. Unless you got a fan or something going on in the background.
Is it okay now?
Yes, that is perfect.
Maybe the skill position with Antoine Randall and Al Harris, because they're gonna hold these players accountable because they were former players. I feel like with how DJ Moore act last year, how Cole Kmet act last year, how Tyreek Stevenson act last year, and how the overall skill position as a whole completely quit on this team last year. I think those are big additions to this team because those are former players. You also got Eric Bieniemy too, who came from the Chiefs. You got a lot of guys in here that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. You have a lot of guys that came from multiple trees. So you got Eric Bieniemy, he came from Andy Reid. You got Declan Doyle, who came from Sean Payton. You have Antoine Randall, who also was under Ben Johnson. So you have a lot of different coaching trees, and this office going to be diverse this year.
Yeah, and I totally agree, man. So I don't know what happened to Alan. CJ's in here right now, man. But CJ, let me know when you got a mic, and we can just get to it. My favorite person on this staff, it's Ben Johnson, man. Like, his vision of what he wanted to do as far as being a disciplinarian, as far as being executing plays, as far as being a no nonsense, like the guys he's got. There's been just no nonsense type of coaches, man. Eric Bieniemy talking to Kyle Monangai, he said, "Your ass moving like an old ass man." You know what I mean? Like, that's the stuff that we need to hear. Like, every position he said is up for grabs. We know that's cap. That's not technically all the way true, but he's setting the tone. Like, you have to earn it. You know what I mean? You have to earn your position on this team. So I love that he's putting together guys like Al Harris, man. Bill Johnson. Who else we got right here? We got Dan Rochard. Thank goodness for Dan Rochard, because CV, what the hell was going on with Chris Morgan and his offensive line? And I'm gonna ask Andy the same thing. Like, what the hell, bro? It just feels so much better to have a real dude as an offensive line coach. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, I don't know what Chris Morgan was doing with that offensive line. I mean, yeah, he had, Darnell Wright, who turned out to be really solid, and he had a little hit on Braxton Jones, turning a 5th-round pick into a solid tackle. But even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, just because he did that, it means he's not as bad as we think. A lot of went wrong in Chicago, and a large some of that was because of our offensive line coach. And with Dan Ruchar now, who has a lot of Pro Bowlers on his resume, you look at Terrion Armstead, you look at Ryan Ramczyk, you look at Max Unger, all these guys from the Saints. I mean, you've got about as good of a resume for any offensive line coach in the NFL. And you bring that to Chicago, which was the worst thing about Chicago last year. And, I mean, it's a miracle that Caleb passed for 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And with this offensive line, it should be a lot better. Yeah, exactly. I mean, 68 sacks and he not getting hurt. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that's – I'm glad he survived that, but we can't keep relying on Caleb to take 68 sacks a season, and hope that we have success with that. It'll never happen. So I'm really happy about this Dan Ruchar signing here.
Yeah, Andy. So what do you think? Very well said too, CV, man. That was dope, man. So what do you think, Andy, about Dan Rochard, man? Breath of fresh air, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, hearing what they did with Kieran Amagaji last year, obviously, they should have known with how the offensive, line was older that he was going to be thrust into some type of role. But hearing how they didn't even prepare him on the side, just to do things properly and proper footwork and things like that, and that's what you want to do. You want to hear from your coaching staff that they are developing players. Obviously, the Bears, we have not done that a lot, and just to hear some of those things, it was just kind of like, okay, this is the reason that we had to make a change. It's inexcusable at this level of football how much they're getting paid, that they're not preparing some of their younger assets to step in when you're gonna have them either this year or next year around, and to protect arguably one of the most important players in this franchise's history. Obviously, Walter Payton was there, right? But we Caleb Williams could, if we can get to, playoff after playoff, maybe multiple Super Bowls, I'm hoping Caleb Williams can be the most impactful player in Bears history. I mean, that's the goal, right?
Right. That is the goal. It's the goal for us to be every year we're at the top of the division. Every year we're protecting the quarterback. Every year we're competing for the division crown, and we're competing for playoffs, man, because we're seeing what it's like to not have structure. We've seen what it's like to not have discipline. We've seen what it's like for a team not to have cohesion, to be in unison and be in unity. Like, in order to compete at the highest level in the NFL, you need stability. And that starts in the trenches with the offensive line. You know what I mean? It starts with your center. It starts with the left tackle, right guard. You know what I mean? Left guard. Like, for the fact that in one off season, we got comments coming. So hold on one second. I gotta pull this up. In one off season, and I'm not giving credit to Ryan Post for any of this shit. Like, I'm just not. In one off season, we've got a top 5 center. We've got a all-pro guard in Tunney. We've got Dolman. We've got Jonah Jackson, who was pretty good in Detroit when he was there before he went to the Rams, I think. So in one off season, it lets you know that Ben Johnson's not playing around. Am I right, Cam? Ben Johnson knows what's wrong, Cam, and he's seen what he needs to get fixed.
Now all we gotta do is adjust the pass rush room, and then we can really go places. Yeah.
Right. But let's get into a couple of comments before we go to the next part of this, man. And I'm gonna let one of y'all choose the skill position we want to talk about, whether it's running backs, quarterbacks, whatever. Let me see if Alan is back in here. Alan hasn't came back. So we got Troy, the great James. What's going on with Jalen Johnson? He just got paid. He's going to be a distraction to the team. So CV, I'm gonna get this comment to you, man. So what's your thoughts about this, man? Because he did just get paid, and everybody knows that Jalen Johnson might have been a little bit underpaid. We knew that. We know he might be a little bit, bro. You got 6 interceptions. You know what I mean? Like, how much more money are you looking to get? But can you just speak on this comment right here?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not overly worried about this because I feel like we ran into the situation also when he was about to get paid, and a lot of people were wondering, oh man, is Ryan Poles going to trade him? Is he going to even get paid? Like, what's going to happen? And eventually he got paid, just the same way that a lot of people were overreacting for our second-round pick not getting signed. And look at that. We signed all 3 of them in a span of 2 days. So I'm not overly worried about that. Now, if it starts to go into the season where he's holding out, then yes, that's a bigger issue. And that would also kind of be a red flag for me because you signed a contract. I mean, nobody forced him to sign that deal. You know, if you really wanted more money,
right?
You know, stick to your guns there. I mean, Every player knows that the market moves and market shifts. So, you know, in 2 years, there's going to be a cornerback getting paid $40 million. There's going to be a quarterback getting paid $70 million. You know, when Caleb's due, if he becomes the great quarterback that we hope he is, I mean, he might be making a $600 million contract. I mean, it's crazy. We don't know. I mean, every year it just keeps going up and up. We just see Jamar Chase getting paid $40 million. So I don't think he's thinking that way, where it's like, oh man, did I make a mistake here? Maybe he did, but I'm not going to overreact just yet about him, you know, holding out or being a detriment to the team. Whatever his issue is, I hope he gets it resolved, and I hope it's, you know, something different. And if he balls out this year, you know, the Eagles did it with Saquon. You give him a little extension or you give him a little raise. And, you know, if he was on, I forgot who podcast he was on, but I believe he was with Keyshawn or Brandon Marshall or somebody, saying that he was going to get, you know, 6 interceptions, no touchdowns allowed.
And Keyshawn told him he can't catch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he said he couldn't catch. So guess what? If he's able to do those, you know, meet those goals, and he's able to shut all the haters up and everything like that, then, you know, fine. Maybe we could talk about a little pay raise here and there. But holding out, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that's happening, man, I would be very disappointed. But I'm not going to worry about that just yet.
Yeah, we got more comments. We're going to get this to Andy. He kind of going ahead of us. What up, Shop Boys Podcast? This is probably Bobby. What's going on to the Chicago Bears Central over there? Hayes and C-Dub and Bobby and everybody. But I think this is Bobby right here. He said, don't overlook D-line coach Jeremy Garrett, who was a former player that coached Myles Garrett. And that is extremely true. So with this comment right here, Andy, man, what's your thoughts about that? Like, we can't underlook one of the guys that's, you know, defensive line coach or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that the trenches is so important, and that's been something we've kind of been lacking, right? And with younger players, need to know like right techniques and techniques that from players who have been successful, been the best players in the game right now, and to hear how he's coached Myles Garrett up, how he's had those conversations. I think in practice, in
there he is right there.
Meeting rooms, all those things. I think those are the things that we've been missing from this coaching staff. Is all those little things that are going to show up on game day. Because obviously we lost a lot of games last minute last year, and it was because of the lack of details, whether it's offense, defense. But when you have a coach that's been around excellence, I mean, players are going to listen to that. And especially now you have, Grady Jarrett, you have some of these other players that are in there as well. I think it's just going to be success breeds success. And I'm excited to just see how that all mixes. And I'll be at training camp on Friday and just kind of see that kind of firsthand. And I went when Eberflus was there his first year, and it was just, it was an absolute mess. You can tell. He was just like a happy-go-lucky guy, getting everybody together to sing a song. And that's all well and good, but that's not going to breed success. And you want players to be able to listen to their head coach and see that he knows how to be successful, and all the other coaches as well. So,
man, I love it, man, and well said, man, well said. But ladies and gentlemen, the CNCNG podcast, CJ has stepped up in the building. CJ, how you feeling, big dog? Where you been, man?
Feeling pretty good, man. Stream route was bugging last week. That's why I couldn't get on, but I got it all fixed out right now. You're happy to be on.
Man, I'm happy to have you, man. Can't have the CNG without the C. Let's make that clear, man, ladies and gentlemen. So he's here. So CJ, man, we talking about the coaching so far, bro. So what are your thoughts on Ben Johnson and his staff, man? We talking about anybody from Jeremy Garrett to Al Harris to Ben Johnson himself to Copeland Declan. Like, what are your thoughts on this staff, man, real quick, before we get into the skill group sets of the show?
Well, I think with the staff, the staff is pretty much opinionated what they expect from all the players at the position. So we know that, we know they're going to hold the players to a higher standard, which is cool, which is good, which is what the Bears need and the team needs. But I think the coach is going to have probably the most pressure.
Excuse me. The coach is going to have the coach to me that's going to have the most pressure is going to be Dennis Allen. Because if you look at the Bears' defense and the defense that the Bears have had over the years, we know that the defense has been aggressive. And is Dennis Allen going to bring that same aggression to the Bears' defense? I'm kind of waiting and participating to see if we're going to see that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Like, I think they all have something to prove. I just think that Dennis Allen, there might not be all the players that he wants on his team. Now, Cam, you can chime in. Like, Cam, are the players that Dennis Allen needs on this team? Like, who do you see? You know what, man? He's getting cut in camp. He's going to struggle in camp because he can't do this in camp.
Well, we know Zach Pickett's getting cut.
Yeah.
I don't see D-Rob on his roster either.
Okay.
So then I think he wants a lot of speed in there. So we're gonna monitor a lot of the safety position, because I do feel like Kyler Gordon will make that transition to safety like the Honey Badger did in New Orleans. So then with the safety room, that's gonna be a lot of shuffling after this year, because they all on 1-year contracts outside of Kyler Gordon. So we're gonna see. I truly don't know a lot about his scheme, but I know that safety room will be revamped next year. It's gonna be a lot of speed in the secondary, and then they're gonna get big ends to stop the run and collapse the pocket. That's what I do know.
Man, I love it, man. Well said. Look, and that just segues us into our first skill group position when we're talking about the safeties. CV, we got Jaquan Brisker coming back off a terrible injury, man. Then we got Bayard in the 1 year. Then we got Jonathan Owens. You know what I mean? He's kind of like your third safety, whatever the case. But
I don't think Hicks make the roster either.
You say Hicks on either? Thank you. I don't think he's gonna make it either. Then we got Zay Frazier. Everybody's saying he's a corner, but he's 6'3", man. He's a glider, like Alan was saying. So CB, man, right here, man, at camp, what do you think about the safety position right here, man? Like, who you think is going to flourish first couple of days of camp, man? Like, who's going to be the guy that's like he's killing it, and who you think is not going to be killing?
I want to say it's going to be Jaquan Brisker, man, and I don't have any doubt that he's going to be an impact player. It's just the injuries, the concussions always scare me, man. I mean, last year he was out, from week 6 all the way to the rest of the season. And I heard reports possibly saying that maybe he was just clocked out of the Bears organization or whatever. But keep in mind, we were also like 4-2 when he got hurt. So there was no reason for him to just say like, oh, I'm done. This wasn't like, week 12 or week 13 when we were already on like our 15 game losing streak or whatever. Right. So yeah, so it's like, I don't really buy into that. As for Elijah Hicks, I don't think he's an amazing player. I thought he was solid last year from what I saw. Is he, a Dennis Allen type player? That's really up to Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen to decide. I would say, if I had to say, like, if he's going to make the roster, I'm actually going to go with yes. And it's mostly because of the fact that there's just so much instability right now at safety. And I kind of wish maybe we would have addressed that a little bit more this offseason. You got Kevin Byard, like Cam said, on a 1-year deal right now. Or on 1 year left of his deal. You've got Jonathan Owens. I think he's still with us, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he's on free agency. I don't know. But you got Jaquan Brisker, who's great, but he's always hurt. So you're always going to need a guy there just in case. So, and you got a guy that has played, with the other Bears players and kind of has that chemistry. So he might have a leg up on some of the other players in camp just to make the roster that way. If he really succeeds in special teams, and this is kind of what I've always said about any player that's on the roster bubble, you have to be able to succeed in special teams.
Right.
That's your chance. So like just not to go off topic here, but Tyler Scott, he's going to be a guy on the roster bubble. I don't think he makes the team, but if he really succeeds on special teams, that's his only shot. Because if you're trying to say, hey, Tyler Scott, you need to be better than Luther Burden and Zacchaeus to make this roster, it's not going to happen. So Hicks, I think, is going to be in that same situation where he's going to be on that bubble. We're going to see if he actually can adapt to Dennis Allen's skill set and what he actually thinks of him. If he makes it, great. I don't think, hopefully we don't see too much of him, because that means either Brisker or Byard is, injured or hurt or whatever. But I think Jaquan Brisker, is my guy to watch out for this year. I think he's going to be if he's healthy, cross fingers here. If he's healthy, he's going to break out this year. He's going to be my star.
Man, CV is killing it, bro. Oh, my goodness. And shout out to Cam, too. But, Andy, with that being said, man, we got Byard up here. We got Hicks. I ain't put him up here, but Hicks and Byard and Brisker and Owens. So what's your thought on the safety position, man? But we got a couple of comments, so let me see if you want to just tackle some of these. Let me know how you feel. They say the safety fits his style. You just have questions about Brisker's health, but he fits the style, can fit in the box and cover. So, Andy, what do you think, man?
Yeah, obviously, I love his, confidence, right? But yeah, I mean, you worry about like he's not going to change his style. I mean, and so I think maybe you having like a Dennis Allen that's going to take that bravado and say, hey, let's do it this way. Not like obviously, players have to be going 100, 110% every single time, but give them the right technique to say, okay, this is why you got hurt, and these are the ways that you're going to be successful 100% and not hold back, but just better technique and everything like that. So I'm excited with that. I mean, obviously anything with coaching I think is going to be helpful too, but yeah, I agree. It does fit his style. So
yeah, if his style is aggressive, but he just has to learn when to attack like that. Like, bro, like sure. Every tackle isn't a kill yourself or kill a player tackle. Just do the right thing, stop the guy, locate the ball, knock it loose and live for the next play. Like, we don't need you out here kamikaze on guys and destroying your career, man, because you might not even, being in the NFL any longer. So CJ, man, we on the safety position right now. So what's your thoughts on Brisker or Owens or even the rookies out Frazier, man? 6'3", you know what I'm saying? He can cover and everything like that. So what's your thoughts on Zay Frazier too, or anybody?
Well, with Frazier, I don't know if he's going to be coming in at safety or coming in at DB. That's the only question I have on him is what position he's actually going to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So with Brisker being hurt, you just don't know what position he's going to be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with everything what everybody's saying, especially about the safety of Jaquan Brisker and what Cam was saying about who can fit the system and everything like that. Guys getting cut Dennis Allen eyes are going to be looking at who can play his system, man, the most. Like everybody wants to just go ahead.
Sorry, I was just thinking of one thing too. I think something that's not being talked about enough is obviously what happened with our defensive coordinator last year, and then who was the defensive coordinator, right? It was Eberflus, right? And just all of that coaching upheaval. And you just think of like all those kind of little things that kind of went through the crack. Obviously, Eberflus had a lot on his plate, and some of these things that, Jaquan Brisker, some of these other defensive players, maybe they didn't get that attention in practice. Maybe they didn't get that, preparation that they could have gotten. And I think especially got a new head coaching staff that's wanting to prove themselves. Ben Johnson wants to prove himself. Dennis Allen wants to prove himself to be a head coach. I would think that he would want that. I'm not sure if he's going to get it, but like you think of all these things that are going to make a difference in just how the players are used and how everyone's fired up, but how they're prepared. And I think that's really going to be the key that, yes, the Bears only won 5 games last year, but there was a reason, not because of Caleb that everyone says, but there was a reason. Offensive line was part of it, but then you look at defense and just there were some things that we were already a very good defense. The things that we did, like I always say on my podcast, the things that we did with the broken coaching staff.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent here, and I think that's a lot of reason why Ben Johnson came here, despite him being a damn lifetime Cubs fan. There's a lot of meat on the bones in here, man, Paul. So you're not coming where you got a bunch of rookies at the spots you need the guys to be loaded at. You got Jaquan come off for injury. Byard's been productive. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff here to make a coach want to come here. So I agree with you, man. It's just going to take a lot of just right coaching and everything in the right system to get these guys to perform at their max potential. So before we go to the next skill position, CJ, did you speak? You spoke on it. So CV or Kit or Cam, you got anything next? You want to talk about the safety before we move on?
Go ahead, Cam. You've got anything?
No, I'm pretty much good with the safety. I just feel like it's going to be revamped after this season. That's my biggest thing. It's not going to look the same this time next year.
Yeah.
Basically, especially depending on Jaquan Blaze. He could be gone. This is last year's rookie scale contract, so he got a lot to play for.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to probably try to mess with him about his injury. How healthy are you? He's going to have to pretty much be damn near a Pro Bowl or something for him to get that money. At the end of the day, it's about paying guys, man. And look, and it's a new staff. Like, they didn't draft Jaquan. They didn't draft them, bro. Like all these players at camp this year are on notice, bro. Like they didn't draft you. Jaden Johnson. They didn't draft you, bro. No matter if you
look how he had to fight for his money.
Right. He had to fight for his money, but at the end of the day, bro, can you really shadow a wide receiver the whole game? Like we like Jalen, but he's gonna have him, D. Allen, gonna have him moving around all the time. So that's just gonna segue us into our next topic. We might as well talk about the cornerback position. So let me bring up the cornerbacks, man. Give me 1 second, please. All right. So hold on 1 second. Cornerback position. So these are the cornerbacks, man. We got Mr. Hype Don't Win Games. We got Terrell Smith. We got Zay Frazier again, man, because like CJ said, we don't know if he's going to be a safety or a corner. Then we got Tariq Stevenson on the Tariq Stevenson Apologize tour, man. So I'm gonna start with CJ right here, man. CJ, what's your thoughts about this cornerback position with Dennis Allen, man? His defense, bro.
Well, going into Jalen Johnson being that number 1 DB and him wanting more money, and you know why he asked for more money, because
You don't know if he's going to succeed in his defense.
Right. Right.
you don't know.
So all the DBs are just going to have to step it up. They're really going to have to just step it up. One thing that's always worried me about the Bears defense is their DBs for some reason. But yeah, all those DBs in that room are just gonna have to step up their game.
Yeah, and I agree with you, man, because that's what I was saying about the DBs. Like, why is Jalen Johnson asking for more money, bro? Are you because once you get exposed, all these guys are going to be exposed to either frauds or straight up players, bro, with this new defense. And I don't know if Jalen Johnson is trying to get ahead of the needle, creating his own narrative, and whatever narrative it is going to get justified or is with family. It don't matter what it is, bro. But at the end of the day, I think he's getting in front of a situation where he might not be totally secure about, because you have to shadow Justin Jefferson, man. You have to shadow these great wide receivers all game. We have not seen Jalen Johnson do that a whole season, just running around just all the time. So CV, man, what are your thoughts about Jalen Johnson and this new defense, man? Am I wrong, or you think he still got something to prove, or is he a little bit insecure? Like, what's going on with him, man?
No, you brought up a real good point that I forgot to mention, is that, in this new defense, he's gonna have to shadow the top guys. I mean, we get to finally see that matchup between him and JJ, Justin Jefferson. Well, they're both JJ, I guess, at this point. But not only that, you're gonna see, when Amon-Ra lines up on the outside, when J-Mo lines up on the outside, with the Packers, with however Matthew Golden ends up being, if he ends up being a good receiver, he's gonna have to shadow him as well. So this is Jalen Johnson's prove it. If he really wants that money, if he's really asking, for an extra buck, if he's asking for a pay raise, that's fine. I mean, you really think you're the best in the league, that's cool. You got to play like it, though. You're in a new scheme, you're in a new system. It doesn't matter what you did during the Flus era, because let's be honest, that was a disaster. So you're ending to a new scheme, a new system, just new everything. We're all starting from scratch here. You might work really well with Matt Eberflus because he was a solid defensive coordinator. But what if you don't work out in Dennis Allen's scheme? What if you're, all this hoopla and you end up just being a solid corner, just a top, 10 to 15, but not that top 3 that we've known you to be for the past, 2 seasons. So I'm not going to overreact too much, like I said earlier, about it. I do think that we do, he comes back and he ends up playing with us and he'll have himself a great season. But if he really is, asking and complaining about more money, man, you better show it this year, man. We're not going to just give you more money and start throwing things out because I forgot who said, I think it was Alan that said it earlier, man. It's about wins this year, man. Who cares about what happened last year? Who cares about, who was our top player on offense or defense? We had 5 wins to show for it. Nothing from last year should carry on to this year other than Caleb Williams, other than the little bit of success that he had. So I'm just happy for the Bears season to come along, and let's just see, if Jalen Johnson can go ahead and earn his money that he wants.
Yeah, man, because what have you done to get? You just got a deal.
Yeah.
What have you done? Have you outplayed your current deal? You haven't outplayed anything, man. You just got this deal. So, and the crazy part about this, Cam, is I know Tyrese Stevenson, man, he kind of messes up and everything like that, but he's the more aggressive corner. So wouldn't Dennis Allen defense fit probably Tyrese Stevenson a little bit more than Jalen Johnson?
Let me ask y'all this: what's the teams we play this year?
Hold on, I got you.
I got you.
The exact schedule. These are up.
So we got week 1, we got the Vikings. Week 2, we got the Lions.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson.
And send you if we're going off receivers, then we've got the Cowboys with CD.
Okay, you got CD, you got DK Metcalf.
You got the Raiders next week, so Jacoby Myers, I guess.
Jacoby Myers, he probably gonna be defending Brock Bowers because that's their best weapon.
Yep. All right, and then you got the Washington Commanders, so that's Debo or Tyree. And then you got the Saints, which is Olave if he's not concussed by then, like he is every year. Then you got Zay Flowers with the Ravens. And then Jamar Chase with the Bengals.
Oh my goodness.
You got Giants with Malik Neighbors. Back to Jettas again with the Vikings. DK with the Steelers. AJ Brown with the Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
If you want your money, this is the year to do it.
Yep.
You got a gun. There ain't no excuses.
I didn't even notice that until you brought it up.
You got a gun. That's why I said that ad. If you want your money, this is the year to do it. Because not only you gonna be you gotta remember, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to DK. Jalen Hurts throwing the ball to AJ Brown. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown got one of the best chemistries in the league. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So if he wants his money, he gonna have to show it this year. That's for the whole secondary. And here's the thing: I don't think Ryan Poe is gonna help y'all out and get y'all a pass rush. So you might go have to defend these guys 3-4 seconds. So if there's a year that you want your money, you gotta prove it this year because look at the competition you're gonna be up against.
Man, it's a lot of comp, and those names you named out, CB, is crazy. It's a gauntlet at the cornerback position for this dude to try to. He's not gonna get paid, bro. I don't know. So Andy, Just what's your thoughts on this cornerback group? I know we got on JJ, but we still got the young rookie right here, Zay Frazier. Then we still got Tariq Stevenson, who I think is pretty good. Now that you got, Al Harris back there with him and Dennis Allen, he's pretty much going to be in cornerback camp. And he was one of the people I saw last year that was just the most childish player on the team, bro. The stupid penalties, the fighting, you know what I mean? The waving at the fans. Like, it's not necessarily all the time with Tariq Stevenson and, him getting burnt. His attitude was kind of an issue holding him back. What you think about Tariq Stevenson now, with Dennis Allen and Al Harris?
Yeah, my guy Seventh Letter on the Friesen 4 podcast, he always says, you better win. Like when you have a game that you're hyped up for, you better do it. You better win. And I think when Tariq Stevenson, when it comes to him, you better fall in line. You better ball out. Like this is his chance. I mean, to really audition for this coaching staff because what if they cut bait after this season? What if maybe they're not tied to him as well. He needs to show that he can obviously ball out, but also, listen to coaching and all of those kind of little things I talked about on other positions. I think those, those habits in practice, I think those things are going to change. And if he doesn't change them, he's gone. Right. And maybe, the coaching staff brings in those players more in next offseason to kind of replace him. But obviously, Zay Frazier, I think that's, maybe he's going to be challenging him in camp as well. So, yes, I like Tariq Stevenson. He's got the talent, but you better do it.
Man, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you brought in a 6'3" guy that's like a hybrid. You know what I mean? He's tall, he's skinny, he's fast. So these guys are put on notice. Like, if you act up, bro, we got somebody to replace you, right?
Oh yeah,
should have been Terrell Smith last year.
But go ahead, CB.
No, yeah, I mean Terrell Smith, like you said, was he was pretty solid for what he stepped in for. I mean, dude, Tariq Stevenson, he's such a wild card because he reminds me of like a Walmart version of Trayvon Diggs because he has if you guys remember that year, he had like 11 interceptions, but he also led up like the most yards in the league. And that's kind of what you have with Tariq Stevenson. It's extremely boomer bust with him. You don't know if he's going to let up 200 yards of defense or he's going to have a pick six, and you're not going to get anything in between. So we just need to see more of that consistency with Tariq Stevenson this year, man. We don't want any of these, these dumb mistakes that he made with the Commanders and getting himself in trouble and all these different things. He needs to fix himself in coverage because he has the physical tools to be a solid corner. And if you remember the second half of his rookie year, he was a really solid corner and he was locking down dudes on his side, making tackles for a loss. Like he really does have,
and he has a knack of knocking the ball out. He has a knack of knocking the ball out.
Yes, he does. He always seems to be around the ball, which I love that about him. And I this is why I really hope, he works out. Also because if he does work out and Jalen Johnson really is on, that BS and, he can go, we can let Tariq Stevenson take over if he turns out to be really good. But also, just having two really good corners on top of Kyler Gordon and on top of Zay Frazier with his potential, I mean, you're looking at a really stacked DB room right there. But I'm a big fan of the opportunity that Tariq Stevenson has this season. So, man, it's going to be tough. I really hope that he turns out to be the corner that we think he can be.
And I agree with you, man. Like, I don't know. So, CJ, did you speak on the quarterback, CJ, or what's your thoughts, man, before we move on, man? I like Zay Frazier, man. I like Zay.
Where Kyler Gordon?
I spoke on JJ earlier.
That was a mistake, my boy. We could talk about it.
Because y'all may not like this, but that's the best defender on our team.
Hold on, we're going to get to it. Like, y'all can talk about it. Let me get to him. I can get him up in here. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, I spoke on JJ earlier, but it's pretty much all going to come down to Kyle Gordon. What is he going to do with the defense? How is he going to play in the defense?
Right.
It's all going to come down to him. Are they going to be having him blitz more? Are they going to be having him cover more? What are they going to be having him do? Because obviously he's going to be the key to that defense.
Yeah. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, Cam. Talk on him. I'm working on something.
I said that Kyler Gordon's the best defender on our team.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're not too high on Jalen Johnson from what I've seen on Twitter.
I don't think he's a top 5 corner.
Top 5, okay. Where would you place him in terms of
6
NFL?
to 8?
6 to 8? Okay, that's fair.
6 to 8.
Okay. I misread. I don't know why. I for some reason I heard you. I thought I heard you say something like top 15 or something like that, and I was like, oh, okay.
No. I think that probably was. That could have been Cole Kmet. I probably said that about.
Okay, yeah, that's more fair. Okay, I agree with that one. But yeah, no, Jalen Johnson. Yeah, I think he has a lot more to prove, and like I said, last year with everything that happened, it's such an unknown. So with everything that happened last year, we don't care. We got 5 wins. The coaches are gone. Everybody except the special teams head coach or special teams coach. So this is his time to prove it.
Yeah, we didn't forget the Bills decision that the team was making when Eberflus got fired.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, dude. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what Dennis Allen draws.
49ers game on is like they stopped.
Yeah. Oh, that was. I remember being so excited too because I'm like, man, maybe there's that non-zero chance that Thomas Brown could turn things around because we saw how good he was. The offense was when he took over play calling duties for Shane Waldron. Mm-hmm. We saw Caleb was starting to break out a little bit. So I thought, okay, maybe he's a head coach. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the NFL. Maybe there's that 1% possibility that he's the head coach of the future. And that game, I'm like, okay, that was thinking crazy.
There he is right there, the man of the hour, the man that got paid in the offseason, man. Spider Gordon, Kyler Gordon, the man you
Still
can put
underpaid.
anywhere. Talk about your boy, Cam. Do your thing, back dog. You got it.
Man, Kyler Gordon. I just love to play the way he plays.
Yeah.
Just love the way he plays. He never quits. He never complains. And he give 100% no matter what the circumstances is.
That's true.
He blitz. He run defends. He covers in the slot, which is you don't got the benefit of the sideline when you cover in the slot. So he's out here following tight ends. He's defending running backs. He defending these power slot guys. He's defending the run and he's blitzing. When you factor all that in, and he hustles. There was a play last year, I think, or this year. I think it was Seattle when he recovered the fumble. He took it all the way to the house. Was that Seattle that got called back?
Yeah, it was.
So it's things like that he does. It's just that I just feel like he's like my second favorite player on this team because he has that blue collar mentality and he just does not quit till the whistle ends. And we need more players like that. He is still underpaid.
Yes.
I'm surprised that we got him for that price because he's looked at as a nickel corner. But I'm just glad that he's gonna be here for the future. Like this is the best defender in our team.
Yeah,
you hear him complain about a contract right now?
No, we ain't.
Nope.
No. He good where he at. But we got a comment from Shot Bulls Podcast that's saying, Andy, we're gonna get you to talk about Kyler Gordon too. But Shot Bulls Podcast says you're going to see Kyler lined up similar to how Dennis Allen used Alontae Taylor in New Orleans. Sometimes in the nickel, sometimes acting as the weak side linebacker. Man, that's you. That means he's so underpaid. So Andy, what are your thoughts on Kyler Gordon, man? Because he's so important to this team, especially for a team that's pretty much lacking a real A-star 1A pass rush.
That's a dog.
You know what I mean? So you can put him in some packages where he can pretty much pass rush. We've seen him do it. So what's your thoughts on Kyler Gordon, man?
Yeah, I love Kyler Gordon. I love what he brings to the team. Not only like talent wise, but like just that persona with the Spider-Man. Like I think teams, especially quarterback, you need players are just going to have that edge, and I think he has that to him. I love that. Obviously, when you have a player of his talent, and obviously it's going to be important to keep him on the field, right? But I just love that he has an edge to him, and I think when you have a defense when you have a team, we're going to be facing all these teams with these wide receivers. They're just like some of the best in the game, some of even the best in history, right? And I think, just having him there and having that edge, not afraid of anybody, I think that's going to be important. Obviously, these defenders are all going to have to come together, but Kyler Gordon definitely going to be huge.
Yeah, and shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Bobby saying Dennis Allen had Taylor going crazy. Check the tape. Bobby, I remember we talked about him before on a prior podcast, and that kid in New Orleans was going absolutely berserk. So it's going to be cool to see Kyler Gordon be used the same way what Dennis Allen did for Taylor in New Orleans. Then we got Soulback Sports. My guy Emron said, "What's up, y'all? Hype for the training camp content, man, bro. We appreciate you coming in, bro. You know you're welcome to come on the podcast anytime. It's a long season, so I gotta divvy up the guest appearances, man. I gotta divvy them up, but I'm working on something to get everybody just part of this, man. So don't even worry about it. So let's move on. So CJ, man, you cool with Kyler Gordon? We can move on to the next topic, right?
And we can move on.
Man, somebody give me a skill group position we could talk about, man. I got them all. Anybody?
Linebackers. I'm hyped for the linebackers.
That's fine. Yeah, I got.
Let's go. We got the linebackers, man. Look, we got Edmonds, overpaid ass. We got Edwards, the cat. You know what I mean? We got Hippo. Like we got Hippo. I forgot this dude's name right here, but we can get to it, man. Andy, the linebacker position, man. What's your
Why
call,
we get rid
bro?
of Sanborn again?
I don't know, dude. That's still a mistake on my end. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still think we should have kept him.
For $1 million.
What you think about that, Andy? You think we should have kept Sanborn?
Yeah,
This dude
I think
runs
so.
a-
I liked him, but who knows? Like athletically, obviously, I was surprised by the Hippolyte pick, right? But I just hearing some of the things from camp, some what he's doing, and maybe just he fits in better with this Dennis Allen defense, and just so I'm excited for that. Obviously, we have some freaks at linebacker. I just think as far as who is it has the biggest wingspan? Is that I always get them mixed up. That Tremaine that does?
Tremaine is 6'8", man. 7 feet
They
tall.
said that
Yeah,
about
so-
Lance Briggs back in the day. I remember when they said that. Doesn't fit because he's too slow. They said
Maybe.
that about Lance Briggs when Lovey first came here. And look how that turned out. You want football players. Speed is not going to be enough at the next level.
Yeah, right now I feel like I'm
sorry,
trusting
I was
Ben.
just reading the comment.
No, you're good. You're good. I think I honestly, I wanted Sanborn. I'm gonna trust Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen on this. This is the staff we wanted. So, if it's not like they're just like, oh my gosh, he went away, we forgot about him. Like, no, they obviously came together. We're just like, you know what, it's not worth paying him money. He just doesn't fit our scheme. And if that's the case, and they're right, so be it. Maybe 2-3 years from now, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. Jack Sanborn was a Chicago Bear, and we don't remember him. As for Ruben Hippolyte, I will full admittance, I absolutely hated the pick. It was my least favorite pick. However, I am also very much open to being proven wrong. And from what I've heard from some reports, they seem to love him. So if he goes ahead and shuts me up, man, I'm all for it. I never like being the guy that when I don't like something about the Bears, I never like being right. I like looking like an idiot in that regard. So if Ruben Hippolyte, comes in, he's a Pro Bowl linebacker for us. I mean, hey, I will happily come on here and say, look at me, I was dumb. So, hopefully, because like we mentioned earlier, Edmonds is unfortunately overpaid, and it sucks that a former 2-time Pro Bowler has regressed this much. And maybe we can, talk about Flus or whatever and what he did. But honestly, just from what we were watching, that might not have been entirely on Flus. I think there's a lot of plays that were just left on the table with him, whether it either just came to lapses in coverage or just missed tackles and just not being a dominant force that we thought he was going to be for $18 million a year. I just really hope he steps up this year, man. Like I said, from same thing with the cornerback room, the safety room. Everyone's on like we're starting from scratch here. All right, we're willing to throw away last year.
You don't know this,
and
man.
the years like we don't know anything about right now. So if Edmonds comes in and we find out Dennis Allen is able to scheme him up perfectly, so be it. But man, this is his year, man. Because honestly, I would not be surprised if we get the same kind of production. He might get traded.
If you put up bad tape and you got a new staff coming in following season, your ass is grass. It's what you're probably feeling like. Like, you damn near got to climb a mountain, man. But we got So Back Sports saying, guys, Edmonds' #1 hater. But he definitely needs to show a lot this season for real. I mean, everybody's on notice, like CV is saying, like, the things you did last year, now you're going to have a coach that's pretty much an attacking defensive coach from the linebackers to the corner. It's an attacking defense. So you saw what happened when he got gashed as much as he did last season. So now we're going to see at training camp immediately, can he keep up in a new scheme? Yeah. Like, it's not going to take long for us to see the guys, like I keep saying, who's going to be exposed. But then you see why a guy like Hippolyte got drafted because he ran damn near a 4.2 or 4.3. Like, it was
Do y'all
crazy.
think he's moved to safety?
Huh?
Do y'all think we move him to safety at some point?
No, go ahead, Andy.
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, I'd love to hear kind of some of the reasons behind that, but I think when you talk about some of these players, like the more kind of hybrid, I think they don't necessarily fit in a specific position, but I just I think they drafted him in a certain position. I think he's going to stay with the linebackers, so to speak. So,
yeah. I definitely think he's going to stay with the linebackers. I see why they drafted him, because if you want speed, he's your speed line. He's a speed guy. Like, we was like, oh, we should have got a pass rush and this and that. But then when you look at it and you see Tremaine, it might be a little bit slower, getting a little older. Edwards. But then you got a guy that can run quick to get to the ball. He might be a steal in this draft, man, based off the scheme and what Dennis Allen wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those A-Glab blitzes are going to be insane with Hippolyte.
That's what I'm saying. So he might be the guy.
Maybe he could be Ivan Pace.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we might have misjudged this a little bit too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, especially me. I was a huge Hippolyte hater.
I hope I'm wrong.
We hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I love being wrong. Like CB said, stuff like this, I'm hoping I'm all the way wrong. Because when we need that 3rd and 2 and we sitting there blitz, I'm going to need Hippolyte or Kyler Gordon, somebody to get that 4th down. So it really don't matter right now.
Man, sorry, real quick. You know what I just thought about? Man, you have Kyler Gordon on one side and you have Hippolyte on the other side. Just 2 speed demons who can probably crash and blitz. And I mean, good luck running a pitch to either side, because oh my goodness, this could be a blessing in disguise for the Bears, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we might have judged it too early. But CJ, what's your thoughts on the linebacker position, man? Because I think, Tremaine Edmonds is who he is. You know what I mean? TJ Edwards is who he is. You know what I mean? Can these guys?
Underpaid.
You know what I mean, CJ? So what's your thoughts, man, before we move on?
Man, the linebackers scare me for the Bears right now, because really, can Tremaine Edmonds, stick with tight ends? That's going to be the biggest thing for him. Can he stick with those tight ends? I don't know. Maybe Hippolyte can probably do it to some degree. Maybe Kyle Gordon, but can Tremaine Edmonds do it? I don't know. And I think the Bears are going to need for him to really step up in a big way. I just don't know what that is. How is he going to step up on his defense? Hopefully Dennis Allen got a spot for him. They can do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a lot we're going to see quick right away with Dennis Allen when these guys get to camp on Monday. We're going to see it, stories, who's writing about it, or Tremaine got burnt here and JJ's not here and Kyler Gordon was the best at the position. You know what I mean? Because he's more great. We're going to see everything come Monday when they start writing about all this stuff, man. Who's really a dude and who's really a dud. But we got Ramina in here right now. We got a celebrity in here. Shout out Ramina, man. She's in the chat. She reposted it. Thank you so much. And then we also have Honey from my chat that reposted it too, man. So shout out to the ladies coming in tonight, man, and reposting the live. We really appreciate it. Shout out to NFL Andy for retweeting it, reposting it. CB, man, there's 96 people in the live right now, man.
Oh, wow.
We're cooking right now, man.
Hey, before you move on, I just want to say, obviously, you brought up Jack Sanborn, right? And circle that Dallas Cowboys game, because obviously Green Bay, that's a big game, but circle that Dallas Cowboys game, because obviously we got Flus coming, but evidently Jack Sanborn, the Jack Sanborn revenge game, we got to prove him wrong. He's on the Cowboys from what I see, if he makes the roster, right?
I think
if he makes the roster.
He's going to make the roster.
Yeah, he will.
Right. He's going to make the roster.
And the Cowboys are really good at developing linebackers too. They have they have just about as good of a history as we do. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Sean Lee.
Leighton Vander Esch had a really good first 2 years in the league before he got injured.
Smith too at that time.
Smith, yep. You got Micah Parsons there, of course, and man, they got some dogs.
All right, so let's move on to the next segment. I'm letting y'all pick it, man. Y'all tell me what y'all want to do, bro.
I'll just say left tackle, man, or go ahead D-line if you want.
You want D-line? D-line is who you got, bro. D-line is who you got. Let's get to it. I try to add everybody in here, man. So let's get to it, man. CB, you brought it up, man. Do your thing. What you thinking? We got Montez, who got hurt last year. We got Billings, the OG. We got Grady Jarrett coming from Atlanta. He got great energy press conference, like he's one of the rah-rah guys. Then we got Austin Booker right here, man. It's kind of underwhelming, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a scheme. Maybe to get enough rest. We got the young boy Dayo from the Colts.
Yeah.
What is he really? They spent a lot of money on him. What is he? You got Shamar Turner, the rookie. Then you got the young man Dexter coming to his own, who's gotten better every year. He pretty much doubled his production this season. Like everything he did was crazy compared to his rookie season as far as production. Then you got Dominique Robinson, man. So go ahead, man, do your thing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, it was actually Cam that brought up, so I don't know if you want to go first because I said left tackle, so I don't want to jump into here. So if you got something Cam to say first, go ahead because it was your calling on that one.
We need Garon Dexter to be a dog this year in order for this D-line to get consistent pressure. Because, like I said with JJ, look at the quarterbacks we playing this year. This is what scared me the most with the lack of pass rush production that we see. Because you look at it. We got Jared Goff. We got Joe Burrow. We got Lamar Jackson. We got Jalen Hurts. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got whoever's in Minnesota with that offensive line. Who else we had? Who else on the schedule?
You got Jaden Daniels with the Commanders.
You got Jaden Daniels. Who else you got?
We got the Lions. You got their offensive line.
Lions. You got
Purdy. You got their decent team too.
You got Brock Purdy. Don't we got Stafford too this year?
We do not know, unless we can face them in the playoffs. Hopefully.
So this will make and break our team. Right now, the over and under of this team is eight wins. This route right here will determine if we make the playoffs or not. Because if you can't get home, you will not beat those better quarterbacks.
You right.
No matter how many points you score. You saw the Bengals last year with that defense, and they got Trey Henderson over there. So if you can't get home with this D-line, then we're not gonna go where we want to go. We're just not. There's so much uncertainty here. Grady Jarrett, he is there strictly for leadership and to guide the younger guys. He's not the player that he once was at Atlanta. We're not paying him that. We're paying him to guide the other guys, the young guys in front of him. He's paid for leadership. So you got Billings. I think he's on a 1-year deal. Am I correct? This Billings last year on his contract?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out. I think you might be right on that.
You got Billings. You got so much uncertainty with Austin Booker, D-Rob, who's been here for a while, and then you pay Dale. But in order for this D-line to go where we want to go, it's going to be Garon Dexter. It's going to be him. Montez Sweat is what he is. The X factor to this D-line is Garon Dexter. We need him to play even better than what he did last year.
Yeah, I think I definitely do agree with you on that. I will say I'm a little bit more excited based off what I saw from the Super Bowl last year, and I keep harping back on this point whenever I talk about the D-line with people, is that I think we're shifting into a new age for the defensive line where interior pressure is now becoming more important than edge rushing pressure. Because if you look at the past few years, Jalen Carter, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones are the ones that have had the most rings. How many of the top edge rushers have a ring? Myles Garrett, none. Micah Parsons, none. Nick Bosa, none. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl twice, but, none on his end. Aiden Hutchinson, none. All these guys, Trey Hendrickson, none. Khalil Mack, when he was with the Bears, none.
He don't got a playoff win yet.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you look a lot of these guys are being paid. If you're paying a guy $40 million, it's because you're striving for a ring, and we don't have that on this team, and that's fine. But something else we also don't have is our X factor on the D line, and Javon Dexter. Yes, he needs to be that guy that steps up and creates that pressure, that interior pressure, because that's the new age of football. That's why Aaron Donald and Chris Jones and Jalen Carter and Quinnen Williams and all these interior guys. And even Aleem McNeil from Detroit, like these guys are highly paid or were highly paid because they were able to disrupt the game. In today's game, that edge rushers simply are, maybe they can, but not as much as interior pressure. And as we've seen from last year with specifically the Bears, we talk about how bad our offensive line was. It wasn't Darnell Wright, not as much. It wasn't Braxton Jones as much. It was the guys in the middle. It was Devin Jenkins and their backup. It was the atrocity at center. It was the atrocities at right guard. We fixed that now, so in theory it should be better. But we're taking a look at this D line, and I like the players that we have because they should be better than what we had last year. I mean, I hope to God we do. And if you look at what I brought up earlier with the Eagles, They won last year without having really a star at edge rusher. You know, Josh Sweat, he's solid, but he's not
They came in waves. They was 2-3 deep at every position.
Exactly. Yes, they were able to rotate everybody. And here, you know, we may or may not have that, and I'm kind of leaning towards probably not. We definitely don't have a superstar, you know, Jalen Carter at defensive tackle. So, you know, that kind of scares me. And, you know, like what Cam said too, this is going to be what makes or break our season, really. I'm not tripping about the offense. I'm not tripping about the secondary with Jalen Johnson or anything. I need to see the D-line improve. I need to see what Dennis Allen can do. And, you know, we do have more depth than we did have last year, but is it enough? And do we have a star on this team that can step up? Can Montez Sweat go back to 2023 form? Can Javon Dexter have a year 3 leap? Those are going to be the deciding factors for this defense and for, honestly, the team in general.
So what I was going to say, kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, what I really like about what the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator did, I feel like he did a lot with less, right? And he kind of maybe hid some of their shortcomings, and maybe that's what Dennis Allen's going to be able to do with some of the. Obviously, you want to get as much as you can out of the defensive line there, but maybe that's what he's going to do a little bit with the linebackers, just kind of switch things up and just maybe try to hide some of those deficiencies until maybe next year we can get more players in the system that he really wants. But that's what I'm looking forward to, is maybe them doing a little bit different things that other defensive coordinators have been able to do and be successful with a lot less.
Yeah, we got a couple of comments too, man. Well said. We got Soulback Sports said last season the biggest issue was the defense getting to the quarterback and generating pressure. Flus had a bad habit of playing a lot of prevent, which let the opposing QB have time to see the play develop. That is so true. We got Soulback saying, great point, CB, on the interior. Never thought of it that way when it comes to how the edge position is getting paid. Yeah, he smoked that part, man. Like, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And my thing about the defensive line is just like all you guys was saying. Cam, I'm gonna mute you because you got a little background noise real quick. The thing about the defensive line, like, we still have to build the trenches up. The trenches is not fixed. You know what I'm saying? We got Grady Jarrett, who's pretty much getting to be an older guy. We got Dominique Robinson, who's been here, but what has he really done? We got Dexter coming to on his own, but then we got a hurt Montez Sweat that he got a lot of money, but he's not a 1A guy. He looks like a guy that he's a guy next to the guy. You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that in order for us to take over the division and start pushing for a playoff, like Cam was saying, as far as beating a Joe Burrow, beating, you know what I'm saying, Lamar Jackson, all these quarterbacks, once you give them time, they tear your fucking defense apart, man. So this right here, like Cam was saying, man, this will pretty much is going to make or break our season, because Shamar Turner's a rookie, man. You know what I mean? Dominique Robinson, how the hell is he still here? Like, what are we doing? Then you got Deo, but what is he? Like, we have no real answers on the defensive line where we can pretty much stamp us saying, you know what? We're going to be a playoff team, or we're going to win the division this year, because it might come up to a play to where Jordan Love kills us because Deo can't get there, or Grady Jarrett is not getting there, man. So this is and Austin Booker, like, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. And like Soulback Sports saying right here, it says Billings' injury last year hurt us, bro. That destroyed the season. You say, while the scheme wasn't fair later in the season, the injuries really showed how ugly it can get if there's no proper scheme. Man, you said it all right there, Emmerich, man. Like, that's just our man. One player got hurt and it fried our team, man. So, CJ, you got anything about the defensive line you want to talk about?
Man, I think you guys hit it on the head. As far as the interior, that's going to be the most important part. As far as that Bears defense,
man.
And I think right now I can at least say this. I think right now the Bears defense got the most question marks as far as just uncertainties that we don't know about with the football team.
Man, I agree, man. I agree.
I got a question too to kind of sort of ask everybody here too, because we should see improvement on the offense, but we talk about the trade deadline, and usually teams that are pushing for a Super Bowl might try to add one more piece to see if maybe they can make that extra push. I could see if the Bears truly reach their potential, and if the defensive line isn't up to par with how the offense is performing, and it maybe end up being, Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen may think that like our defensive line could be our Achilles heel later in the season, do we make a trade with somebody to sort of add that last piece for a sort of push if things go really well this season?
Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah.
You need to do that now.
Right now.
X.
You need to do it now. Because if you look at the quarterback we playing, we may not be in that position no more. If you start off 4-5 at the trade deadline, are you trying to make that move now? Because that is a realistic possibility with the team that we playing right now. So you need to be calling Darius Smith. If he's still out there, Matthew Judon, you need to be doing something.
Yeah, we need to add one more person. I've been saying it too for a while. Like I know those two guys you just mentioned are out there. You know, even if we're not going to trade for like a Trey Hendrickson. I highly doubt it. We're already paying 2 edge rushers pretty big money. But at least someone else in the rotation that can do something. You can't have
enough pass rushers.
Yeah, you can't have enough, exactly. And with injuries too, and we saw with the Lions last year, you definitely can't have enough.
And they just lost the starter today. They just lost the dude today.
Yeah, I forgot. Levi, I think it was. Levi O.
Yep. But we're gonna go to the tight end. We're gonna change it up because we just went offensive, defense. Now we're gonna go tight ends. Then we're gonna go online. Yeah. Tight ends, man. There's been a lot of talk about our tight. Look at Cam. Can't wait to get it. I know I've been seeing him talk so much stuff about Cole Kmet, but we're gonna get to it. But hold on, we got a couple of comments on YouTube. It says, dying to live, subscribe. Didn't know y'all had a YouTube page. Appreciate the live. Keep putting in that work. Thank you, man. We appreciate that, man. Then we also got dying to live saying, can't wait till Tuesday, man. Playoff bound year, hopefully. Yeah, man. It's playoff a bust for me, man. Like, then we got the quarterback segment we're gonna get into. I got a lot to say about that, but we're gonna talk about these tight ends. Cam, man, I've been seeing you give it to people, man, on Bears Twitter about Cole Kmet, man. So I'm gonna let you lead off with this segment right here, man, and you just give them your thoughts, man. We can just get into it. Then I'll go to Andy.
Okay, we'll start with Cole Kmet. I never felt like he was a bad player. I just feel like he was out of position. He was forced to a position that he shouldn't be in. When we drafted him, we had 8 or 9 tight ends on the roster. I don't know what Ryan Pace was doing at that time.
I remember that.
It was a bunch.
I remember that.
So we drafted him to slowly bring along when Jimmy Graham was here, and after we paid him $10 million a year. Mm-hmm. So we drafted him to do that, but after you realize that he's not going to be a true flex tight end, that's where I always differ from a lot of Bears fans. Said that, hey, he's a tweener tight end. He's really a tight end too. Why do I say that? He has good hands. He doesn't drop the ball.
Hold on, Ken. Don't let it go. But go ahead, Andy, before you forget. Go ahead, Andy.
I mean, I'm interested to see kind of what that means, but I mean, they did some different things with him, kind of like handing the ball off, and I think he's able to be that way. I think just the coaching staff forgot about him in game plan and just not knowing how to be organized. He has a talent. I just think you need a coaching staff that's going to know how to prepare and scheme up all the things for him, because I think it was the Dolphins game, one of Caleb's that time when he had the massive running game and at Soldier Field. And they were able to kind of really do some different things with Cole Kmet. They forgot about it. And I just think when you look at his talent, it's there. It's just you have to highlight it. So, and I think even more so, teams are going to be, trying to key on him. Colston Loveland is going to kind of do some different things in the 12 personnel. I think Cole Kmet is going to have a bounce back year. So I'm really curious to kind of hear your take on what you mean by that.
Well, what I mean by he's not a flex tight end, he just doesn't have the twitchiness or the ability to separate for him to put him outside. That's why I feel like different me from a lot of Bears fans. So I feel he's more of an inline tight end, and I feel like him being able to block in the perimeter, he's good. But I'm not the Josh Oliver or the Mercedes Louis type where you could put him on a D tackle or a defensive end, and he's just gonna move him out the way. I don't think he's that either. He's like in the middle. So So where Colston Loveland comes in is that he's going to be that true flex tight end. He's the guy that you can give him screens to. He's the guy that don't have the screen open, and he gives you more with yards after the catch. Cole Kmet is very limited yards after the catch, which is why it's like, why are we trying to scheme to get him the ball? Because you could probably name like 3 or 4 times where Gessie gave him a screen and he took it 7+ yards. I mean, that's just a reality. For him to be that big, he go down way too easily for me. He's like 6'6", 260. 180-pound DB shouldn't put you on your behind like that.
You know, I know you're not putting the screen stuff on him. Obviously, the screens.
I'm not saying that. That's not his fault.
mean, they were entirely predictable, and that's not on him. I think, you know, he has that capability to get separation. I mean, you look at some of the plays. I don't know what games you're watching, but I've seen some of that separation. I just think when you have a coaching staff that knows what they're doing, I'm not sleeping on Cole Kmet this year. Not at all.
No. And I'm gonna speak on it, and I'm gonna pass it to Andy. Like, this is what I noticed. Like, sometimes when teams draft players, you can see why they drafted a player. Like, when I'm looking at Colston Loveland tape, the things that he's done in college, Cole Kmet is not doing. Cole Kmet probably can't be the corner as much. He can't be the safety. He's not going off linebacker. So when I'm watching Colston Loveland actually do that in college, you see quick, fast. This is going to be our number one tight end going forward. You know what I mean? It's not the fact that Cole Kmet is not good to me. Me personally, you need Cole Kmet. You need 2 tight ends in a 12-person play, 12 personnel. You know what I mean? Like, he was top 5 in play action. You know what I mean? He's a big target. Like, he was a safety blanket. Outside of Keenan Allen, this was his safety blanket in Caleb Williams last year. It was.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can I ask a question? Is Kelsey able to separate?
At this stage, no, he bad. He washed.
I disagree with that. But okay, even the previous, when you look at Kelsey and some of these players, you know, obviously Colston Loveland, he is not the prototypical tight end. I think it's going to be 1A, 1B, and I like that about Colston Loveland, that he's not the prototypical tight end. You have you know, Cole Kmet, and maybe he is more of that prototypical tight end. But I still think, you know, get him the ball, and I think, you know, Kelsey, those type of players, they're big, they're strong, and maybe that's part of, keep going back to the coaching, they kind of you know, really put it on them to kind of, you know, be strong and be able to kind of continue to fight through some of those tackles. So, and if you get your players in the right position that are not kind of, you know, I don't know, you know, in front of defenders, just, you know, tackled right away. If you get players in the right, you know, schemed in the right way, I think they, you know, Cole Kmet's really going to show out this year because of that. So I highly disagree on that Cole Kmet take. You know, I'm really high on him this year.
You need Cole Kmet, man. Like, you cannot not scheme for him against the defense. Like, it's damn near impossible. Like, when Colston Loveland's getting all the attention, Cole Kmet is going to be right there. The safety blanket, he's going to continue to be. But going forward, I just don't think he's going to be the guy on his team again. But CB, we haven't heard you speak on the tight ends. So can you please speak on the tight end position, man, before we move on? Then we go to CJ.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, before the draft happened, and I obviously heard a lot of people talk about, you know, the possibility of us drafting a tight end at 10. And I was completely against it because I didn't think, as much as I don't think Cole Kmet is anywhere near the level of like a, you know, a Mark Andrews or George Kittle, you know, Brock Bowers type of tight end, I didn't think it was enough to spend a top 10 pick on a tight end. So when the pick was made, I was originally upset. I slept on it, kind of looked more into it, kind of figured out, one, got to trust Ben Johnson here. Also trust the fact, too, of his history. He was a tight ends coach before he became an offensive coordinator. He knows how to develop tight ends. The first guy he was with, TJ Hawkinson, before they traded him away, moves on to Sam Laporta. Look how that turned out. Now you've got Colston Loveland. And I know I was one of the people that said that Tyler Warren, I think, was a better prospect than Colston Loveland. I know, Cam, you were definitely Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I had Mason Taylor over Tyler Warren.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, that was a little bit more of a hot take, but you had Colston Loveland over Tyler Warren. So I looked more at the tape and everything, and I kind of realized that even though I might not think that Colston Loveland is better than Tyler Warren as a prospect, I think Colston Loveland fits the Bears scheme better than Tyler Warren. And I'm definitely going to trust Ben Johnson on that judgment there. And you could definitely see the upside with Colston Loveland, so I'm excited to see him. When it comes to, Cole Kmet's worth on this team, I'm glad we have him.
Yes.
I don't think, like you said, you got to scheme him up too. He's going to be, sort of this tight end 1A, 1B. And, maybe Colston Loveland later in the season, skyrockets and he ends up being, a much better tight end and, whatever.
And that's totally fine. And that's totally fine. But this guy right here, you still need him on your team, man. You cannot use him and expect your offense to be as good as it's going to be. But go ahead, CV. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And I was going to say also too, I think maybe what also could be true too, even though Cole Kmet has, high value on this team, what also could be true is the fact that he, they recognize he's not a top tight end in this league. He's not top 5. And you see a lot of the successful teams have a top tight end. You look at the 49ers with George Kittle. You look at the Chiefs with Travis Kelce, or at least, prime Travis Kelce. And even now, he's still he still does a lot for the team. You look at Mark Andrews with the Ravens. A lot of these teams have good tight ends. And, Ben Johnson might look at that and say, you know what? As good as Cole Kmet is, we just need something a little bit better, or at least a production of the tight end room to match what the other tight end rooms of other NFL teams have. So we can match 2 guys from Loveland and Kmet to match what we have on other NFL teams. Our offense can really skyrocket. And then you're not even talking about guys like DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Luther Burden. I mean, this offense could explode with both guys there. And I think early on, one does not work without the other. You do need Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland, especially with tight end. It takes a while for tight ends to develop. So, this allows, Colston Loveland, you're not throwing him in the lineup and saying, hey, buddy, you're a top 10 pick. Go ahead and be Brock Bowers right away. Go ahead and be year 1 Kyle Pitts right away. You kind of bring him along slowly, and hopefully it does turn out to be a star. And mind you, just a little fun fact, the last 2 tight ends that we drafted in the first round were Mike Ditka and Greg Olsen. So we do have a pretty decent history with drafting tight ends in the first round. So hopefully that turns out like that.
Let's give a shout out to the chat, man. The people in the chat, we got a celebrity in here, man, in the Bear community. Bear Mysterio said this is fire. Shout out to the Bear Mysterio.
Bear Mysterio, my boy.
Can't wait to have you on the show, man, during the season. We got an actual segment we're going to be doing during the season, me and him. He reposted the stream, and we got Amber saying, I think Cole Kmet is a product of how prepared the good scheme was from the offensive coordinator and coaches. He has the ability to separate, but it definitely doesn't help the scheme. Go ahead, Andy. You want to speak on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly well put, I think. That's exactly kind of what I was saying. And I think that's what we're going to see with Ben Johnson. I think obviously we talk about, getting Colston Loveland in the first round, but then also, Luther Burden, right? And when you look at this offense, and obviously maybe we wanted the running back that went to the Patriots, right? And so I think what I like about Ben Johnson in the draft is that he focused on having players and with the talent that Luther Burden possesses, and maybe that's kind of, they figured that they could fit him in to some certain roles, certain packages. And so I really love that part of it. So I think it's so easy to kind of look at like who's a top 5 tight end, this and that. I mean, obviously you brought up Mark Andrews. Hey, he's not even the best tight end on his own team, so right now. Yeah, so when you talk about Cole Kmet, and I don't know, obviously it wasn't last year, but the previous year, I believe he did have top 5 production. So when you look at that, I mean, he can do it, and obviously get him in the right system, get him in the right position. I think he's going to do well this year.
I think you're muted, Walker.
My bad. Well said about Andy, man. But we're going to still shout out to the chat, man. We got Phil up in here from Profane Podcast, Professional Profane. That's my guy. Then we got Shabu's Podcast in here saying definitely loving over Warren after I watched the tape. Yeah, we could probably get into that a little bit. Whoever want to talk about that. Then we got Phil right here saying Andy is my dog. This is one of my day ones, man. When I first came back on Twitter, just let everybody know, I let this page die for like 3 years. I wasn't even on Twitter, man. And one day I was like, let me get this page back right and start working on content on X. And me and Andy been locked in from the beginning, so I appreciate you, big dog. I really do. He said, Andy is my dog. We were chilling at the draft round 2 together. Yeah, I saw the pictures, man. You got Phil again saying, "What's up, Andy?" Then we got Phil reposted the stream. So anybody saw the tape and was like, because everybody doing the drama, we just get Tyler Warren. He's right there at 10. Tyler Warren is right there. Then Ben Johnson went totally off the radar and off the screen and just jumped out the window.
I saw it coming.
And just picked him. So Cam, what was the difference between Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland? Because I looked at the age for one part. I was like, well, he's a little bit younger than Tyler Warren. I know that's just face surface, but he's younger. Tyler Warren was a little older, but what do you think of the reasons why? You know what I mean?
Tyler Warren is basically a more charged Cole Kmet.
I was literally thinking a little bit. Yep, I was literally just thinking that.
You got two. They're basically the same person.
Yep.
See, but we don't need Tyler Warren to come in here and play quarterback like he did at Penn State.
Right.
He ain't got to take snaps. He ain't got to run QB power.
Right.
And he ain't got to throw no pads in the red zone. So Ben Johnson one the guy that can separate on all three levels. That's what I saw.
Yeah, that's what I saw, him beating corners, linebackers, safety. I'm just watching him go up the field, and Ben Johnson wants to throw the ball upfield. Much as we love Cole Kmet, just the skill set and the body, he's really not that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I guarantee you when it's 3rd and 4 and he needs Caleb Reeves that safety blanket for Cole Kmet for that check down or whatever, I'm expecting the pass to Cole Kmet. I don't care. I do not care. Long as we get the first down to Cole Kmet, man. But we got Soulback Sports Amarin saying, bro, Ben could have taken the running back that was available at the position where Luther Burden was. He would have taken the running back, but did he like what he did with Gibbs and went off script and picked Burden? You think that's what he did, Andy? I see you over there shaking your head.
Absolutely. And obviously, I'm sure they had players on their board that they would have loved to take. But yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at an offense, I'm sure, Ben Johnson, he's the offensive guru. He has certain goals. They have, I'm sure, broken down as far as like snaps and some of the plays that they think they can be successful with. And you have a player that's got the talent and it's there on the board. And I'm sure Luther Burden, it kind of fell to them. Maybe they didn't think he would be there. And it's just, hard to pass up when you want to have your franchise quarterback be successful. Give him all the tools, and that was a tool. If obviously they weren't able to get the running back they wanted, they got a player.
Yeah, well said. I love it. I definitely agree. We're gonna go through a couple more comments. Then we're gonna go to the next skills position, man. Hold on, what is that? We got Coach. Oh, Phil says Coach Loveland blocking is underrated too. Jim Harbaugh told Loveland that he would have been the best blocker on Michigan team, O-line included. That's cap. That's cap, man. It's cap. Come on, Jim. Come on, Psycho Jim. Stop it. Like, we love you in Chicago. We wanted you to be the coach here. But if you don't knock it off, man, when Loveland was a junior in high school, you know what? I saw the video of his high school coach talking about being a great blocker, and I was going to clip that up and shut it around. But he's an underrated blocker, man. And sometimes, CJ, that Cole Kmet, he's not necessarily a good blocker. So, like I say, sometimes it's easy to see why they're drafting guys to replace other guys or guys to be the number one in the offense and the defense. So when you add up that Colston Loveland, he's a better route runner. You can beat corners, you can beat safety, beat linebackers. Then he's a better blocker. So that lets you know he's checking off every block that they want in this offense. You know what I mean, CJ?
Correct. It's probably, the route runner for Cole Kmet, as far as going vertical, is probably not the best. That's why they drafted Loveland. He checks off a lot of things that Cole Kmet don't do very well. Right. So, but you're always going to need that 1-2 punch. So, but Cole Kmet does bring a good short game for the Bears for getting those short yardage. Now, he may not be the best blocker, but that's what he got an offensive line for. That's what you got Darnell Wright for. That's what you got the new center for. That's what you got the offensive line for.
Ozzie Trapillo and all them guys. All right, man, we stayed on the tight ends position a long time, man. We got everything up out of it. I think if anybody got something else to say, we can move on to the next skill group.
Do anybody know about the dude we got from the Dolphins? Because I don't know anything about him.
We didn't
He's
even
a
talk
blocking
about
tight
that. I
end.
got his whole picture up here.
He's a blocking tight
guy.
end. He's depth piece. Not really much.
All right, so let's get to some comments real quick. Then we're gonna go to the next skill group. Y'all tell me what y'all want to do with that one. He said Ben was his tight end coach in Miami. This is his forte, no pun intended. Emory. Cole is 6'6", Loveland is 6'6", Bear Mysterio, and he says Cap. I don't know what that was for. Probably when Jim Harbaugh said that he was the best blocker on the team, including lineman. That's crazy as hell. Phil said let Jim Harbaugh cook. Jim Harbaugh is crazy. I wish he would have came here. I love a crazy ass coach, but we got a crazy ass coach because only a psycho coach is going to stand in the division and kick your ass and go to a new team. That's some crazy. That's crazy right there.
Yeah,
so we got our psycho coach in Ben Johnson, bro. That's absolutely crazy. So what's the next skill group position? Which I want to do O-line because we got O-line left, we got running back left, and I think we got wide receiver. Then we got quarterback. Then we done, man. So 300 people right here right now, man. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Everybody that retweeted. We going crazy right now, man. This is probably one of our highest watch shows ever, man. So I'm gonna give Andy. Andy, what's the next topic? What are we talking about?
I want to talk about running backs.
Running backs, say less. Running backs. And I think I took home. I don't have Homer up here, but I think I got. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold up. Wait. Y'all can go ahead. Andy, kick it off, man. Anybody want to talk about?
Obviously, when you look at DeAndre Swift, I mean, I think I like what Ben Johnson's going to try to do with him and maybe some of the other running backs. I think he has the most to prove within this offense. I think they're going to need to, obviously, in Detroit, they really they ran the ball, right? And I think if he can stay healthy and at least provide some solid snaps, I think it's going to be nice to have some of these other players. Kyle Monaghan, I hope he really develops as well and just fills in the gaps. But I think this running game is going to be interesting, and I think DeAndre Swift has the most to prove. I'm excited for what he's able to do. Maybe not as the bell cow, right? But just provide some different things and maybe a spark where he can.
Yeah, I think Kyle Monaghan. I'm gonna go to CB. CB, what's your thoughts? Because there's so much I want to talk about the running back position, man. We got DeAndre Swift, and he was here for a reason. He didn't get traded. The draft was coming. We didn't get one of the running backs, and he played with Ben Johnson. He was here. Then you got Roschon. Everybody's kind of almost out on Roschon, but he's still here. He seems like he's getting everybody a second chance. You know what I mean? But what are your thoughts on the running back position, man, with Swift, Roschon, and Kyle, man?
I'm kind of worried. I'm not gonna lie. I might be a little lower on the running back room than others, but I did not want Swift to be our RB1 heading into the season, and unfortunately, that's what we're looking at right now. Now, obviously, the offensive line was terrible, but I know people want to keep harping on a breakout season for DeAndre Swift. Guys, he was on the Eagles in 2023. He was in one of the best situations you could be in for a running back. You got Jalen Hurts. You had good receivers. You had pretty good play calling, or at least above average in that case. I mean, you're not having that in Chicago. You got a good play caller. That's probably pretty much the only upgrade you got, and quarterback, hopefully. But I mean, the only hope that I have here is that the rest of the running back room can sort of take turns, and we sort of turn into maybe like a Kyle Shanahan type scheme where every running back, is able to flourish. You don't have that bell cow. And this is before Christian McCaffrey, by the way. When they had what was it, like Matt Breida and Raheem Mostert, all these guys that Shanahan was able to turn into really good running backs. And you look at our running back room, and you got Kyle Monaghan, who does look promising, and I am excited to see what he can do. But I would have loved, and this is obviously not our fault here for the Bears, but when Trayvon Henderson, man, he was a guy that I really wanted before, and an Ashton Genty obviously was never going to happen because he wasn't going to make it to 10.
And I'll never forgive y'all for whoever wanted us to draft Ashton Genty. I'll never forgive Bears Nation for that. That was y'all wanted to give up picks. Y'all was tripping with that. I ain't letting that slide.
You're gonna hate me then because I wanted Ashton Genty.
bugging, but go ahead, CV.
No, but I am glad how things went, but I also really wanted Cam Scatterbo. I was really, really, really high on him coming out of ASU, and I know some people are kind of on the edge about that, but I'm really high on Cam, and I'm excited to see what he can do for New York. But for the Bears running back room, man, it's like a lot of what Ben Johnson did in Detroit was the running game setting up the pass game. And I know he already said that he's not running the same scheme as he was in Detroit, which is completely fine. Jared Goff and Caleb Williams are two different quarterbacks, completely different
Absolutely
quarterbacks.
right.
But the thing that always remains true is the run game does help set up the pass game. And you're not looking, obviously, to be Detroit in terms of the run game, but can it be good enough to be able to keep the defense on their toes, for the play action to work? Because that's what Ben Johnson ran a lot, was play action. Can that work in Chicago? I'm not so sure. And if there are problems with the offense this year, I think it's going to be because of that running back room. And so I'm not too high on Swift, but not a terrible running back. You can definitely do worse than Swift, but I wanted something a little bit more. Could we still technically sign a Gus Edwards or whatever? Yeah, but they're not going to really move the needle too much at this point. When you missed out on guys like who was the guy that was on J.K. Dobbins or Nick Chubb, not that they were, home run hitters or anything, but as of right now, you kind of got nothing left. Jamal Williams is probably your best bet, to be honest. So who knows, man?
Hey, Cam, I'm going to come at you, Cam, when I'm going to ask you about Kyle Monangai and what you think. But hold on, you got to unmute your mic. But we got a couple of comments from Phil. Phil says he thinks he's forgotten, but I think there's something still there. We got Bobby saying Kyle led the Big Ten in rushing at Rutgers. That's nothing to sneeze at. I got my eyes on him preseason, and he never fumbled. Kyle Monangai never fumbled. Then we got Phil saying, all right, G, let's fight about Al Shafir. We can, bro. We can. We got all season. I guess he coming at you, CB, about you wanted Cam. Got the crying emoji.
Listen, man. Cam got dog. He's a dog, man. I think he's going to do good with the Giants.
Yeah, then we got Ramina saying, can't wait to watch the Bears Super Bowl with all you guys this year. Hey, look, the Bears, once I see Caleb Williams stat completions in preseason or camp, he going 7 for 8, 6 for 9, 8 for 10, 8 for 11. I'm telling you, I'm putting my money down for the Bears to go to the Super Bowl, because I think that's the only thing that Caleb got to do is just really just get better at just being surgical with the ball, man. That's all. But we'll get into that. Ramina said, Phil said, let Ramina cook. Absolutely, man. We appreciate you guys, man. But give me your thoughts on Kyle Monangai. Cam, what's your thoughts on him for real, bro?
He's a tough back. He's kind of like a mini Tommy Jones with how his running style is. I don't know if a lot of y'all remember how good Tommy Jones was, but that's who Kyle Monangai reminds me of.
Right.
He's a very tough, very physical running back. He doesn't have the biggest stature, doesn't have the big speed, but he has a lot of heart. So he gives me a lot of hope in this running back room. But this running back room, it's going to be more than just these backs. Caleb will be involved, and Luther Burden and DJ Moore will also be taking handoffs this year. So I'm not as worried about the run game. It's going to be a lot of window dressing this year. So it's not going to be just this running back room. You're going to see DJ Moore in the backfield, just like Ben Johnson had for Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're going to see Luther Burden back there. This is what his role going to be. He's going to be like that wide back that Deebo Samuel was for Kyle Shanahan. That's what we got him to be. So I'm not as worried about this running back room as you guys are. Of course, I would love to have a dominant back. I would take this off to the next level, but it's going to be a lot of window dressing with this running back room this year. Because Caleb,
yeah, go ahead.
Because Caleb, he can run.
He cooking.
He's not Justin Fields, but he can still run. He can give you 500-600 yards a year. You're gonna have DeAndre Swift. You can have DJ Moore, who was arguably our best back last year, because he has vision and he has contact balance that Swift don't have. And you also got Luther Burden, who led to college football the last 2 years in broken tackles for a wide receiver position. I think he had 64 broken tackles the last 2 years. So
yeah,
it's gonna be
64. Yeah,
it's going to be a complete group effort with the running back room. So I'm not as worried about this like many other guys are. And the online improvement.
Man, no, you cook, bro, because that's true. I think DJ Moore is going to be out there getting some, and what's the other guy name? Luther Burden. It's going to be running back committee. Caleb, like you're saying. So I absolutely agree, bro. We don't really have that guy to be the bell cow right now, but like you said, it's going to be a running back by committee, and I think Ben Johnson is creative enough to get everybody involved to keep the chains moving. As me, when I'm watching the game, that's all I really care about. Like we can get as specific as what the balance of this running back is. I don't care about that, bro. You got DJ Moore who can run. You got Caleb who can run. You got Luther Burden who missed 64 tackles, like you said. You have a bunch of guys where you can scheme up to get those yards that we need. So, absolute cook fast value right there. Cam, that's so true, man. We got Fields, and I agree with Cam. I'm not worried about running back. Great points by DJ and Burden. Yeah, he cooked right there, man. Cam cooked. If our O-line is good as it can be, don't be surprised if Swift eats like crazy. Yeah, I really think that's what it's going to be. This offensive line is probably going to be way better than anything we've seen recently. So with that being said, we're going to segue right to the next topic, which is the offensive line. So just give me 1 second to bring that up. Give me 1 second. There we go. Give me 1 second to bring that up. We're going to talk about the O-line. I think we got O-line left, and I think we got quarterback and kickers, and we can get the hell up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all spending time with us on a Sunday. CV, man, appreciate you, bro. Hope you had a ball. You having the ball. Hope you enjoy yourself. You know, this is, like I say, it's a training camp, PP, so we got to talk about all positions, man. I hope, Cam, this is your first time. Really hope it's not your last time, bro. You're more than welcome to come on any other time. If you want to talk ball with me or with CJ, you know what I mean? We can get into it. But CJ, I'm sorry, man. I didn't get your thoughts on the running back position, man. What's your thoughts, C? My fault, bro.
I mean, you know, each of those running backs are capable of having a breakout year because of the offensive line. That's what I think.
Feel crazy, man. Go ahead, CJ. Don't mind me, bro.
Yeah, either one of those running backs are capable of having a breakout year.
Yeah, I agree. So we're gonna get into the O line. Woo! This shit right here. This shit right here.
We came a long way,
bro. We came a long way, CB. Like, look at this, man. We got Darnell Wright. Man, this is. Oh man, we got Tunney. Oh my God, this is like Christmas came in July. You know what I mean? CB Trapillo. Yep. And I forgot I took my guy Newman, and I forgot Bill Murray. I messed him up a little bit, but man, we gonna get into the offensive line, man. Whoever want to take off on it, man, please do.
Oh man, I'll go real quick because I need left tackle to work out. That's the one position I'm watching this year. Left tackle needs to work out. For a right-handed quarterback, that is arguably the most important position. You know, obviously center is like right up there too as well because we haven't had good center play. But left tackle, man, we've had all this debate about Braxton Jones. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I hope he balls out, or maybe, I don't know if he even gets an opportunity because maybe Trapillo ends up stepping up, being a good guy or being a solid left tackle. I don't care who it is. We need to solidify that left tackle spot this season. I don't care if we got to pay Braxton Jones to have our, secured left tackle. What I think actually happens is I think if Braxton Jones is healthy enough to start week 1, I think he does start. Trapillo probably, steps in maybe at some point, whether it's due to injury or maybe even next season. I don't know if maybe the plan for, left tackle was to have Braxton Jones start this year, have him walk in free agency because they don't want to have to pay an average left tackle, $20+ million like they've been getting nowadays. And then Trapillo steps in next year as the main left tackle. I don't care how they do it. It just needs to happen because, a lot of, our issues is because of the offensive line. And even though it wasn't as bad as the interior, man, a left tackle is super important. And you look at, the prime days of Aaron Rodgers and Dave Bakhtiari, a lot of the reason why Aaron Rodgers was so successful is because he didn't have to worry about his blind side. It was, you knew for a fact it was locked down pretty much the entire time. So I love what I've seen from Ozzie Trapillo, 6'8", 316 pounds, I believe. The dude's huge, man. And I think what I like about him,
baby polar bear, man. I've been calling him a baby polar bear since we drafted him, man.
Seriously,
baby polar bear.
Literally, that's a perfect nickname for him because, man, he is tall. He's a huge dude. So, and one of the things I really liked about him coming out of college is, and even though he's not amazing at it, but I think he is better than Braxton Jones at this. he's really good at defending the bull rush, because that's the Achilles heel for Braxton Jones, is that you put him against a guy that is stronger, he gets ran over. And we see it so often with him where he's a really good, he's pretty good at left tackle, but when it comes to a guy like Jared Verse, he's going to get eaten up. A guy like Ozzy Trapillo, he might be that guy where a guy like Jared Verse can't come in and do that. Another guy like Micah Parsons can't come in and put him on his ass. Like, this dude can stand his ground, and we need that at the left tackle. And obviously you're looking at, center just as big too, because we've had a revolving door at center for God knows how long, since pretty much the prime days of Cody Whitehair, I believe, really since like 2018. And now you've put in Cody Whitehair at center when he was older. You put in Coleman Shelton. You put in Sam Mustipher, the cursed days of Sam Mustipher, man. Oh,
Sam Mustipher, Mr. Mashed Potatoes, man.
Oh, man. I lost a few brain cells watching Sam Mustipher having to play for our team. But Drew Dahlman, I mean, if we're going to go into, back, not to go off topic, but we're going to go back into the running back conversation, a lot of it's going to be on what Drew Dahlman can do, because he's really good at run blocking, because that was his forte back in Atlanta. Not the greatest pass blocker, but hopefully better than what we had last year, man. So left tackle and center, I'm very confident about Joe Thuney. He's been a stud his entire career. Darnell Wright, he's on the rise. He's always been solid. Jonah Jackson's a little worrisome just because of last year, but I will give him some grace because of his injury, having him play out of position. But he's been with Ben Johnson before. He knows him, so I'm pretty happy with right guard. But I need left tackle to be figured out this season, and I need center to work out.
Man, Will said we got so many comments. Hold on. About the offensive line. Let me get some of these. I think Cam, you said, yeah, we already read those. We got Diane Liv says, what a turnaround for the old line pose. Earn that extension for real. I don't know about that.
15 wins.
Yeah, 15 wins. But he says, I hope Ozzy gets a starting job. We got Bear Mysterio saying, protect Caleb's blonde side, damn it. Not blind, but blonde. We get it. I think he meant blind side, but you know how Caleb is. We get it, man. I like that. We got Bobby saying LT is going to come down to pass pro, bro. Braxton is good in the run game, struggles with bull rush. Kyron is a question mark. Ozzy has to prove himself. Yeah, so I'm going to get this to you, Cam. So with this comment right here, man, Bobby said a lot right here, man. So just dig into this, man. Come down to pass pro. Braxton is good in the run game. He's all right there. What you think?
It's Ozzy's job for the taking. It's right there for him if he wants it.
Yeah.
Now, if Pose traded back for him and took him in the second round and he doesn't work out, that's another bad draft by Ryan Pose again. But this O-line gonna come down at this. Joe Thuney, can you please stay healthy? Please.
Right.
Just for 1 year. Can you please stay healthy? Because if he goes down, how do y'all look at this offensive line?
Man,
if he go down.
TV?
It depends on center and left tackle, man. I mean, Joe Thuney has hardly ever been injured. I'm not really worried about that.
But he's 32 now, bro. Your body changing when you at that age.
Maybe.
Especially when you're deep in the trenches like that.
True.
Which is true. Why I was pushing for the Bears to address getting his replacement on day 2 of the draft this year, because you don't know how long he gonna play. We just saw the great Zach Martin just retire out of nowhere this year. We saw Detroit with Frank Ragnow just said, I'm done. Bye. So with Joe Thuney being a ready-made man, he been a part of 2 dynasty. He has all pro. There is nothing he never accomplished. So he could drop down and say, skip this at any moment. We like a torn tricep away of him retiring. Let's be honest.
That's true. I don't think you can. I think for a guy that's been healthy throughout his career, I don't think we can go off of like if he does get injured, because we can say that of just about anybody. But I do see, obviously, we should have probably had more depth at that position, which is why I'm hoping now for next year's draft, regardless of how Joe Thuney is, even if he's a first-team All-Pro, wins the new award, was it Protector of the Year, I think they put out. I don't care how he does this season. I would at least like in the first or second round draft his replacement. At least the dude can sit down behind a future Hall of Famer, learn from him, and when he retires and he's out, he steps in.
Yeah, man, because that's well said. We're close injuries away, man. Just guys. But what do y'all think about Karan, DJ? Karan, you know what I mean? He didn't get a chance to show what he was really got hurt. We had Chris Morgan here last year. Do you have any faith in Karan? And Cam, I'm gonna ask you the same thing after CJ answers. Like, what's your faith in Karan, CJ?
I think he will get a chance at least this year. I just don't know what starting offensive line they're gonna put him at.
Right. Swing tackle. So Cam, what's your thoughts on Karan? Same thing. What you thinking?
I think he should have the same chance as Trapilla has.
Right.
He should have the same chance because
faith
they
in
both unproven at the end of the day.
They both
So
unproven.
I feel like they both should split reps in training camp and see who's the better man. And I don't think it should be given to Trapilla just because he's the new draft pick. He's the new hope. I feel like Karan was just put in a bad situation last year. They put him in that Washington game and you didn't even give him no chip help. Remember, last year he didn't have no training camp. He didn't have no OTA because he was hurt. So that was his first game action was against Washington. So I feel like he got a bad rep for that. And it left a lot of bad taste for a lot of us Bears fans. But I think this year he should get a legitimate chance to develop and learn and grow. Just like everybody else, just like Trapilla. So I feel like he should have just as good a chance as Trapilla is because they both equally as unproven.
Exactly.
So he should have a chance.
Keyword is unproven. And Trapillo played mostly what, right tackle? CV? Right tackle,
Trapillo,
right?
yeah. He played all over the line except center, but he mostly played right tackle.
Yeah, so to Cam's point and to CJ's point, and your point is just basically like it's a can of worms, bro. Like Karan, he should get ample opportunity, man, just as much as Trapillo, man. For real. Just as much. I think we got a couple more segments, man. We try to breeze through these. We've been on here for a while. We're going on 2 hours. But it's a training camp EP. We just for the record, I'm never on here no more than an hour for any show that I do. But there's so many positions we got to talk about, man. So I really appreciate you guys. Stand as long as you guys are stand. Whenever you guys are ready to dip, just let me know. Then me and CJ or Cam, whoever will just finish it out. But we're gonna get down to the wide receivers, man. We're gonna go wide receivers right now. Wide receivers, bro. Woo! We haven't talked about these guys right here, and I still think we got comments coming in. We got Phil
Can you
saying
put this next to the 2022 wide receiver room we had?
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. What was it? Mooney is our one?
Oh, my God. Mooney and
Bailey,
Tyler Gabriel or some shit?
Pringle.
No, do me a favor. Go back to 2022, our game versus the Eagles. You'll see Nasimba Webster as our wide receiver 3 starting.
And we got Phil with the comments. Phil said, "Hey Cam, stay off King poles, man. Lay off King poles."
Oh no, I'm always behind. Cause boy, you got an extension too. I'm really on your behind now. I want to see some win.
Yeah,
I don't count his first year. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yo, Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright do look like fucking twins. Like,
yeah, they are. Holy crap! Parallel universe right there.
Then we got Orion saying, "Do you want to promote your Apple?" What? I don't even know who is this.
I think it's a scam, probably.
I'm pretty sure it's a scam. Karan can still be a great piece. Some of the longest arms in the NFL.
Yeah,
but let's get to the fun stuff, man. We almost done. Wide receivers, man. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Alamazi Kias, Luther Burden III. If I forgot about somebody like Charles Scott, who I don't think was on the goddamn team.
Duvernay, yep.
Yeah, I forgot him. Sorry about that. So we can get to him too. But these are the top guys right here, I think, right here. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Zacchaeus, and Luther Burden III. CJ, what are your expectations for anybody on right here, these top 4 guys, man? What are you thinking, CJ? Chat, let us know what you're thinking, chat.
As far as Burden, I think he's gonna be probably the main one that's gonna make the biggest jump out of that offensive out of that wide receiver core.
Man, there's 400 people in here right now. Shout out to everybody that came in here and reposted.
400 people.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? We they locked in with us right now, man. Luther Burden III, bro. This is what I'm gonna say about Luther Burden III. And I said this to Alan, but Alan is having technical difficulties. Let me know if the music is too loud or whatever, so I can adjust it. So the music is good, guys?
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I'm thinking about Luther Burden III. Like, he's similar in build to DJ Moore. They're about the same size. And Cam, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think if Luther Burden III, and this is way down the line, this is way down, whatever. This is just way down the line. Because we got to think about paying DJ Moore down the line. And I don't think he's going to get paid because I don't think we're going to win enough to where he's on a veteran team. You know how veteran teams can, they keep their wide receivers, they keep their tight ends because they go to, you know what I mean, playoffs year in and year out. First of all, that is not what I see from DJ Moore at all. And the Bears, him staying here just to keep getting checks and getting paid. No. So if Luther Burden comes into camp, he come into camp, and he just looks like what they drafted him for. He just looks like this is why we might get rid of DJ Moore. How fast, now chat, don't get mad at me, no, I'm just hypothetically speaking, how fast, as a coaching staff, you or CV, we like, you know what, we got our guy. How much longer do you think DJ Moore realistically can be here? I know he got the guaranteed money, but what's your thoughts?
I'll go first. Bit of a hot take, but I think DJ Moore is a little bit on the decline. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's a little bit on the decline. Now, I'm not saying he's gonna fall off a map. He's gonna be like 400 yards this year or whatever. But I think Odunze is a new one. I think Odunze and Caleb have that chemistry more than Caleb has that chemistry with DJ. And don't get me wrong, DJ will be a very, very valuable piece of this offense. And I don't think this offense will be as good without him. But until we see, when we see Rome Odunze end up being that one that we know he can be, it's going to be, at this point, I don't know if Moore is going to be playing out the rest of his contract if Odunze blows up this year, which I think he will. On top of that, you add Burden, who's a very good slot receiver. I don't see too much of shelf life left on DJ. I'm going to be honest with you.
Man, that's true, man, because, and I just think if it's just Luther Burden III, he just comes in and he just shows off like 64 missed tackles, Cam. 64
in 2 years, yeah.
If he teases anything of that in the preseason, in training camp, and he's shaking guys off.
It's not going to be, it's just like the command coach, it's going to be, now DJ Moore going to have a longer lease because he had more guaranteed money. I think it's going to be a couple years down the line. Like when we pay Caleb, that's when you really going to have to monitor that because you got to cut back on a lot of things. But DJ Moore going to be here for another 2 years. Unless he goes Stephon Diggs, he just go crazy, or he act like he did last year.
Yeah, he'll still be here. I just don't know if we're ever going to see that 2029.
Nah, I don't think he's going to be here to the end.
Nah, not. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I don't see it. Only way I see him staying is if we just start winning more games and just winning divisions and all that. Like, you gotta win games to keep getting that type of money that he's going to be demanding, bro. Like, you gotta just win. Like, if I'm the GM and we winning, oh, bro, I got you. Look, I'm signing you to another extension. We getting further in the playoffs, further in the season, so it's nothing to sign him. But I don't know if that's going to be us coming down to us winning more games. I don't know if that's DJ Moore is going to be part of that future going forward, man. But what are your thoughts about Rome, bro? Like, a lot is going on Rome this year, man. Like, Rome, 6'3", 200-some pounds, Cam. And he had to grow. But what do you think about Rome this year, man? You think he's going to be that number 9 pick that we drafted him for, man? Like, do you see number 1 wide receiver?
This is going to be the year you start to see it. He went through a lot of rookie road, just like Caleb did last year, how he was running to the coverage. He had concentration drops. But he also was out of position, too. It seemed like Shane Rogers just put everybody in a bad spot last year. I don't think DJ Moore declined. I don't think Rome was a bad pick. It's just that the coaching overall, especially on that side of the ball, everybody was just out of position. So it just frustrated everybody. Now, they could have handled it a lot better, but everybody just played out of position last year. From Keenan Allen to Cole Kmet to DJ Moore, they was out of position last year. So I feel like this is going to be the year where everybody we're going to be a cohesive unit, and we just all going to flow this year.
Yeah.
So I don't think DJ Moore declined whatsoever. You saw the end of last year where Thomas Brown actually designed to give him the ball. He was still DJ Moore with the ball, but I guess Tay Rogers just put him in the Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf role. He tried to turn into a deep ball wide receiver. That's not what he is.
Right.
That's not what he is. You just have to design to get the ball in his hands. And Rome is very similar to that.
Well said, bro.
So, but if I think Ron gonna be our X receiver this year. Luther gonna be the slot wide receiver, and DJ gonna be the Z. I think that's how that's gonna work.
All right, we got comments coming from Phil. Rome Medusa, wide receiver 1. We got Romina saying, can't wait for Rome's dad's tweets. It's going to be lit. You know that either way. And we got Phil saying, Luther the birth of the third equals DJ Moore. I mean, that's what I see. Like, maybe a little bit better, a little bit younger, probably a little bit faster. That's what they replace you. They replace you with the finer girl, the prettier girl. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Keep all 3 of them, Phil said, until the end of Rome contract. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Picture that. I think DJ Moore will still be elite because his game is based on strength instead of natural blessed athleticism. I think he's going to be fine until he won't be here, man. But let's keep it moving. That's the wide receiver section. I think we got. I don't know if y'all want to talk about the kickers, man, but I don't know if y'all want to do that. But we got the last section. I think is the quarterback. We did wide receiver, we did cornerback, we did running back. We did D-line, we did O-line, we did tight ends, we did everybody. So the last segment, ladies and gentlemen, is the quarterback segments. And we're gone. And we're out of here. Anybody can kick it off, man.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are pretty excited about Case Keenum. And I am too, but it's leadership, and that's completely fine. We need that leadership, we need that experience, we need that veteran presence in there in the locker room. But for people that, I might be alone on this, but I don't think he's better than Tyson Bagent. If we're talking about quarterback play, like if we're talking about a guy that comes in and, let's just say Caleb, God forbid, he gets injured for whatever reason for a game or two, and he needs to step in, sort of like Tyson Bagent did in 2023. I trust Bagent a little bit more. I think Case Keenum, if we're talking about 2017 Case Keenum, that's a different story. But this is 2025. He's like, 37, 38 years old now? Not to say that he, doesn't have anything left in the tank, but I think I'm picking, if I'm Caleb, I'm picking up, I'm picking his brain. If I'm the Bears, I'm using Case Keenum and his veteran leadership and his veteran presence more than I'm expecting him to actually step on the field and be a contributor. And obviously the expectation is that we don't have to rely on any of the backup quarterbacks for any sort of production this season. But if we're thinking about just off of like, what does he really bring to the table? Case Keenum, bro, we just need your brain. We just need you to provide that leadership and provide that experience in the NFL to Caleb Williams.
CJ, what's your thoughts on this quarterback room, man? Because Tyson Bagent had a lot of fans. His dad was a famous arm wrestler, man. I don't think Bagent inherited his father's strength. Because I remember they had to sub him out for somebody to throw a deep ball to him. So for Tyson Bagent, you added the conversation for me for the most part. So, but what do you think about this quarterback room? You got a young guy, you got an older guy, you got maybe a guy that's trying to compete with Caleb. But what's your thoughts on the quarterback room, C?
As far as Casey Caleb, it's going to be all about experience, man. Him being back up to Caleb. The only thing that Caleb is going to have to start doing is start getting completions on second down. I think that was his biggest Achilles heel last year, is not completing those second downs to where they become first down. That's going to be his biggest thing is how consistent can you be in completing passes on second down? That's all Caleb has to do coming up into the season.
Get into the Caleb Williams segment, then we're going to end it right there, fellas. Let's get into the Caleb section real quick. So, Cam, then I'm going to go to CB. Cam, what are your expectations for Caleb Williams this season, man? Like, what does Caleb have to do?
Let's appreciate what he did last year.
Okay.
For a guy that had 3,500 yards, 20 TDs, and 6 picks with bottom 5 offensive line, 2 head coaches, 3 offensive coordinators, and with wide receivers and defenses that's quitting on the team. In organizational chaos, he still looked like an average quarterback. and I can't stress this enough how much I appreciate that, because many other quarterbacks would have folded, many other quarterbacks would have let us down, and he even went out and did something that we haven't seen in 10 years, and that he went and beat Green Bay on their home turf.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got a quarterback that it shouldn't be required, but he could overcome organizational chaos without breaking down.
Yeah.
So now that he gonna have some stability around him, I expect him to be a Pro Bowl level quarterback this season. I expect him to break the Bears passing yards record, and I expect him to break the Bears touchdown record. I think that's 29 by Eric Grant.
Yeah.
That is how confident I am in Caleb Williams, because I feel like he's the guy that's going to be here for the next 12 to 15 years. And he's going to be the guy that he's going to be the Joe Burrow. He's going to be the Lamar Jackson. He's going to be the Patrick Mahomes, because he is that type of special talent. He is that type of special player, because he is a guy that, outside of being a tick late on a certain amount of his reads and at times holding the ball too long, he is almost perfect, if not that Ben Johnson is here. So I have very high expectations for Caleb Williams this year. I think not only a Pro Bowl quarterback, but he will be an All-Pro quarterback at points in his career. That is how
I love it,
confident I am in
CB.
this guy. Based
Man,
on
hey, I love it. I love the energy, CB. What's your
what he
expectation
did
on
last
Caleb?
year. I don't think a lot of the media and a lot of his fans really appreciate what this man he didn't drown after the organization gave him some mitts and threw him into a lake. He didn't even drown. He stayed up 10 toes down, and he was still floating around. So I feel like this year now he's in a position to actually thrive. And for that reason, I just feel like we found our guy.
Man, I agree with you, man. CB, what's your thoughts on Caleb Williams, man? What are your expectations of Caleb, man? Realistically or unrealistic? Like, just what's your fandom saying and what's your realism you saying? What's going on?
Yeah, I expect the 4K. Like at this point, 4K shouldn't even be like a hot take. It should just be standard at this point. 4K to a lot of other teams is almost nothing. It's almost expected every year. That it's an embarrassment that we've gone this long as a franchise without a 4,000-yard passer. 30 touchdowns. You know, that's a little bit situational depending on the offense if you're in. If you're in a run-heavy offense, you know, pass-heavy, that's whatever. 4,000 yards, though, it's literally, I believe, like 230 yards per game in a 17-game season. So it should be, if we're expecting Ben Johnson to be the guy that he is, 4,000 yards should be standard. You know, as of bold takes, you can go up as high as 4,500. I mean, the sky is the limit with Caleb Williams. I mean, you're looking at just a guy that, like Cam said, he could be an all-pro. He could be, and at some points, I'll even take it a step further. He could be in MVP levels at some point. I expect him to be an MVP level quarterback at some point in his career. I don't know if it'll be this year, you know, who knows, it'll be next year, but at some point he should start getting into MVP conversations. You're looking at a guy that could probably even get 40 touchdowns in a season, 5,000 yards passing. As for this season, though, I would say probably 4,200 yards. I would say somewhere along the lines of 28 touchdowns, 27 touchdowns. Couldn't 30 touchdowns happen? Most definitely. I mean, this looks like a pass-heavy offense, so I could definitely see that happening. But more than anything, I just want the wins. I want these wins to start stacking up, because I don't care if he has a Joe Burrow season last year but went 8-9. You know, I mean, obviously with our defense, I don't think we're as bad as the Bengals, but I think for this year, Caleb Williams is going to show the world why he was drafted first overall, why we you know, passed up on Justin Fields and traded him away so that we can go ahead and get our guy and Caleb and lead us to a Super Bowl. And even if it doesn't happen this year, man, it's going to happen eventually. I trust Caleb Williams so much to be the starter for this team, to be the savior of our franchise, essentially, and probably be the next big thing since Walter Payton.
Well said. Well said. CJ, I'm going to go last, but CJ, what are your expectations for Caleb Williams this year, man?
Hey, man, I just want Caleb to be consistent on second down. You know, can you get those second down, you know, to become first down? That's all Caleb got to do. Just be consistent. Take your time, make the right throws. You know, get your receivers and just can you be consistent on getting the second down to first down?
Yeah, that's it, man. I think, and this is my thoughts on Caleb Williams. I just think my expectations for Caleb Williams is to be better, bro. Be better. Like, you wanted a hard coach, you want to be coach hard, you got him. You wanted wide receivers, you got him. You wanted a coach that's going to push you, you got him. You got every single thing that you wanted. You got an organization that was going to pretty much pay for the coach that you wanted. You got a president that's going to do whatever he can to build around you. You know what I mean? You got Tunney. You have Jonah Jackson. You have Braxton Jones. You have Darnell Wright. Caleb Williams. You have every single thing on offense that you can ask for. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden. You know what I mean? A hybrid number one potential franchise-altering tight end in Colston Loveland. You got him. Then on the back end, you got the underneath inline blocker tight end in Cole Kmet. You got it all, bro. You got JT Barrett as your coach, who's probably one of the OG, you know what I'm saying, dual threat quarterbacks in college that you can pick his brain. You know what I mean? Like Caleb Williams, man. I expect 4,000 yards. I expect a all-pro type of season. I expect more touchdowns. And I expect about the same or even a little bit more interceptions, man. Like, the expectations are the expectations. Caleb Williams, bro, those are my expectations for you, and I think you're going to meet them, man. So, with that being said, this is the CNG podcast featuring CV, featuring Cam. Shout out to Cam, bro. You came in and cooked, man. I don't care what nobody say about you, bro. To get you to actually come on the podcast and talk in person, man, you changed my mind about a lot of stuff. I knew you was cool, but you cooler than I thought you was, man. That's why you got to get to know people on your own before you judge someone.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I easily could have said, nah, bro, you can't come on because everybody in Twitterverse is Twitter bears talking crazy. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to learn who this man is on my own. But with that being said, let me get into the last comments because Phil is still cooking right now. Let me get into these comments and then we're going to end it and you can tell the people where they can find y'all at. We got Phil saying Caleb is going to lead us to a division title. I think so. Yeah. And I think it could be this year. We got Joseph Archer. Shout out to Joseph. I'm sorry, Joseph. You said about the running backs. You missed that segment, bro. We done with the running backs. Then you got Phil saying pass for 4K this year.
Yep.
Caleb is going to raise your mom. Come on, Phil. Damn. I want to see continued improvement on the deep ball.
That's
that
right protection.
There.
You throw the deep ball when you're not being protected.
Facts.
We got Phil saying it's damn near 500 people in here right now. You know what? I think I'm gonna stay on. Yeah, bro. Like, usually we get about 160, 70, but shout out to my chat, bro. Shout out to the chat. CV know the chat. We all support each other. We got Honey McMahon in there. We got Celeste in there. We got Rashid from the Windy City channel in there. We got Bear Mysterio. We got a bunch of great people, man, that's content creators that take care of one another, man, and they all retweeted, man. We got Ramina in there. She's a big Chicago Bulls fan, man. Huge platform. So she retweeted it, reposted it. So shout out to everybody that came in here and reposted and retweeted and quoted. And everybody that's not in the chat that's on my timeline too. Shout out to NFL Outdated Andy, man. He stayed as long as he could, and I appreciate that. So shout out to everybody, man. It's 501 people right here. I got to screenshot this. I don't care. Give me 1 second. So let them know where everybody can find you, CV. See, what can everybody find you at?
Well, you can find me on YouTube, CV3, just simple as that. And then on Twitter, you can find me at CV3YT. That's where the two spots I'm most active on.
All right, Cam, what can they find you at, bro?
You can find me at TTS_Cam3 and on YouTube at TTS_Cam, and that's where I'm gonna be at. I'm gonna start grinding on my YouTube now that how everything worked out today. I really appreciate all y'all support.
Man, it's nothing, bro. We got you. We got you, man. We got you. And with that being said, CJ, what's your last words and what's your final thoughts before we go, man?
500 people.
Hey, man, training camp is finally here. I can't wait. Training camp is finally here. I cannot wait.
Hell yeah.
CV, what's your final thoughts, bro?
I am excited for this season. We survived the months of June and July. We are here. Football season is back. Fantasy season is back, especially. I don't know if y'all play fantasy football. I do too. But, man, I'm excited for just the season in general, and this is a very, very hopeful season for the Bears.
My final thoughts is this. Bear down, baby. And we out of here.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Peace.